What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by the household. Natalie wants you to know she is getting closer and closer to being not pregnant anymore.
Yes,
She's super excited about that.
And I, for some reason, don't know what is wrong with my brain, but I was like, you know what? This is how I'm going to get through the rest of this pregnancy is I'm going to like order some clothes, not postpartum, but just like post-baby, you know? I'm not going to order like the big sweatpants for postpartum. I'm going to order some cute outfits.
Do we love that we made that decision?
I ordered size small,
Mm-hmm.
and then it showed up.
Mm.
And then it showed up, and then I took it out of the bag. And then I was like, wow, I don't know if that's ever going to fit. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So, you know, I think the belly's just a real big mental block these days.
She pulled it out and she's like, I'll never be this skinny. And I was like, that's not true.
I was like, this will fit River.
Natalie, you have two people inside.
That's
of
what I
you
keep
right
saying.
now.
She looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm also like, what did you order? A corset?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I ordered some pants, some silk pants from J. Crew,
Stretchy.
but in a size small.
Uh-huh.
And just me holding them up, I was like,
Mm.
oh no. Like I was just like, that's a lot of work.
It's giving
That's
the Brandy Melville one size fits all thing, where it's like, that doesn't fit like
Literally.
anybody.
Mhm.
One size fits two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that, like, you will, in fact, bounce back because you just will.
Well, I also, what's crazy is my first pregnancy, I had our wedding 3 months postpartum, which date was chosen before I got pregnant, you know, so kept all that. This time, we'll be filming season 2 of Age of Attraction 3 months postpartum. So I'm like, can I rest? Can I just not?
I was going to say, it just sounds like you really love to have a goal to work
Mhm.
towards, you
Really
know?
motivating.
It's giving Virgo.
I planned it all this
Some would
way.
say, Natalie, it's consistency. Like, you just want your digital footprint to be like, this is who I am.
Mhm.
Like,
I
no
bounce back in 3
allegations.
months or less.
What won't bounce back is my beard.
Yeah.
I have some grays.
He was shaving them off this morning.
Mm.
Individually.
It's getting
Plucking.
it's
He's
really
plucking.
it's
He's using tweezers.
well, we're past that.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like
Got
patches.
And then what's a real bummer is like because I have some blonde, I have
Uh-huh.
plenty of blonde, and like in the summer my beard gets some blonde, and I've been like it's blonde.
Mm.
Yeah. It's never been
It's
blonde,
gotten harder and harder to
actually.
lie to myself.
So,
Listen, Delulu is the best Delulu.
Meanwhile, Kyle Cook's out there looking better than ever.
That people
Is
shoot
that-
that he
No.
just put out.
Yeah.
like
Stunning.
Did he's really had a glow up?
Post
Or has he always looked like this? And I just
No.
was blinded by like him calling his wife a bitch.
I think it was that.
His
I think it was
aura,
that.
his aura was
Yeah, his
dark.
aura was dark.
Well, people
Yeah.
were saying too, like the In the City promos that he was doing, he looks like Kyle from season 1 of Summer House. Like he's like de-aged, which is probably just happiness and
There are something to
freedom,
be said
but-
about like just
It's
feeling
probably just
fresher, younger,
happiness.
freer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
All the videos of him like making out with fans.
I'm into it.
You
I don't know
know,
why.
There was one that someone sent in the group message yesterday or the day before that, and he like kissed her, and then he was like, "You're actually really hot." I'm like, wait, that's a crazy thing to say to someone.
She was
After
also
you
in the
kiss.
comments. Somebody like tagged her and was like, I know her. And then she was like, help or something. And I'm just like, I don't know. Watching him like, I don't know. There's something about watching somebody like live their authentic life the way that they want to, where I'm like him DJing, him be like doing all the things that he was doing while married, where we were like, focus on your relationship and your wife. Without that, and especially with all the West stuff, I'm like, go boy. We're like,
You
go follow
do your
go.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Hunter Harris when she was on said that he was her Princess Diana. And the more you think about it, the more she was absolutely right. I'm like, yeah, the way that Kyle got out of that marriage and Kyle put on that revenge, whatever skincare product he had.
He did.
And he's making out with girls during his DJ set.
No, it's really you know,
Bravo's
because
Princess Di.
generally speaking, in a relationship that goes south, there's usually one person fighting for that relationship more than the other, and we've always like assumed it was Amanda fighting for that relationship. And the more we like watch and discover and watch the reunion and In the City, you're kind of like, not to put on Amanda,
Yeah.
but clearly he was, you know, fighting for the relationship, whether you had notes about how he fought for it or not. You know, he wasn't like being intimate with his partner. We assume that despite maybe some of his like past discretions, he was mostly consistent and mostly, I say it, mostly faithful seems like a crazy thing to say, but you know what I'm saying? Like he in his way, was trying to make it work. It seemed like Amanda, the more like that scene in the city where she's sitting down with Kyle, which is like such a, it's hard to keep up. Like, are you guys together? Are you not together? Like the jump from like the summer house reunion to in the city. We're back to like saving the marriage.
We're working towards getting back together, but I just signed a year lease.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
But I'm keeping the keys to your
Unfurnished.
apartment.
Amanda's version, it seems like, of trying is to give Kyle the blueprint of how to win her over.
Right.
Which, I mean, I'm not saying she didn't have the right to do that, but it also just seems to make more and more sense of like her mindset. It seems like all she wanted was for someone to pick her, to
Mhm.
choose her, to like, at all cost. She wanted to be swept off her feet. And it seems like Wes was at least willing to pretend to do that. And it seems like that's what it was all about. Her working on the marriage was getting a new apartment and then trying to like scare Kyle or get Kyle to do something. It was all. So when you think about it, it was like Kyle had to do all the things,
Mhm.
and
And she had nothing to do. She's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wasn't willing to meet him halfway with anything.
but her mindset was, I'm done. You need to do, if you want this marriage to work, you need to do this, and that. And it was like, that's not how two people fix a relationship. You date for 10 years, you have problems. Like it can't ever be just one person.
Well, and even when he was like, I would just love it if we could have these discussions like we're making a decision together versus you telling me what's happening in our
Yeah.
relationship. Like that is a relationship. You don't get to just tell someone, I'm going to sign a year lease, but don't worry, we're dating. I'm not seeing anybody else. But it's like, but we should be seeing each other at least 2 nights a week. And I'm just like, well, what are we doing the other 5 days a week if we're not working on our relationship?
Also, him being like, yeah, I'm still wearing my wedding band. And her being like, I'm just not wearing any jewelry right now. It's like, girl,
It was
Girl.
giving Melanie being like, I didn't know it was you.
I didn't know it was Corbin.
I didn't know it was Corbin. And he's like, girl,
He was like, look at the build on that. Have you seen the two of our hair
She's like,
lengths?
no, it was just really good kisses. I had no idea who it was.
Truly. Like,
and like maybe you're not wearing jewelry today, but when was the last time you wore your wedding band? You know, like
that's kind of how I feel when like watching Amanda in the reunion and in the city. Like it kind of feels like you think everyone else is dumb. And like that's why it's so frustrating is because it's just like
no, they just don't get her.
you know what I mean? But it's just like, no, I didn't post those photos to mean anything in a full-on slide with me and Wes had best day ever. Like it's just like, girl, like it's so much more strength in admitting your faults and being like, hey, like I thought I was getting one on you guys. I was having a fun time, fine. But like the way that she's just like, no, if I did that was a dumb mistake that I did. And it's like, girl, you knew what you were doing when you were thriving and riding
That was
high
the
on
dumb
the wave.
mistake.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not and like to your point where it's just like you have her sitting here trying to tell her husband how to win her back, but then the options are either give him 0 time to do that or prove that or be one of a zillion in a lineup for West. When he said, I have a zillion girls that it's been unclear with, I was like, is this a flex?
Like,
A
that
zillion?
was
But that's the number we chose, not like a couple, not a few.
There's
because
been a lot.
zillions of girls.
A lot.
zillions of girls.
How many people are in the world? More than that.
Like, right? And like that's what I'm saying. Like, you know that there's so many because he went straight to like kindergarten
He
numbers.
did.
Yeah.
I think it's like a zillion or like a trillion. There's just so many.
We have a whole bonus episode next week, which I'm really excited
so
Did
about.
they give us
Oh,
a timeline on
oh.
what, like, when that is? Is that post
I don't know if it's post
in the city?
It's
Post
No.
post-reunion.
post reunion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I genuinely feel like it was like Bravo's way of being like, hey, Amanda, West, you guys did not show up at this reunion.
One more chance.
We're giving you another chance and we'll do an aftermath.
We'll
bonus
do it
episode.
in your house. You can wear your stupid little hats.
I've
and you
never
can be
heard the word
comfortable.
beta blocker, so I didn't even know what a beta blocker was. Still don't know if I really know, but like it's the way that's been talked about. The recognition beta blockers have received from the reunion of Summer House is unprecedented.
What beta blockers have done for the Bravo community cannot be undersold.
Get him verified on Instagram.
I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that Annie like brought it up and he's like, well, yeah, I took one.
Oh, I felt so vindicated because I've said that since this moment they opened their mouths. I was like, this is beta blocker plus something.
He didn't also see it in Amanda, though. He was like, I'm talking to you, West. I'm like,
I think
And
Amanda
Amanda.
obviously had something else happening with her, and he was probably like, let me just give this to Wes because he's showing no emotion versus Amanda being like actively like not defending Amanda in any way. But it seemed like she was on, I don't know.
I was like, Amanda was more zombified than Wes.
Yeah,
so-
that's zombified.
But I'm
yeah.
like, I do think that there's like a protection thing that is happening with this edit when it comes to Amanda because she was not asked really any of the hard hitting questions or like followed up or pressed by
yeah,
any
it was,
means.
which again, it's just tough to do. I mean, Andy did a great job. You can only do so much. And like, when it comes to hosting reunions, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You either you either pushing too much and then look like you're taking a side, or you're not asking enough questions. Part of a reunion is letting people decide how they want to go about it. You can only do so much, but like clearly Amanda and Wes just did not want to do that. And we also don't know how much Andy pushed versus how much they showed.
I just kind of wish there was like moments where Sierra or Lindsay were trying to like push them to ask them questions and Andy like wanted to get his question out. So he kept being like, okay, no, hold on a minute. And I was like, I kind of wish that he would have like let them run with whatever they were saying because it was Sierra going after Wes and Sierra hadn't really been talking directly to Wes throughout a lot of the reunion. So it was like, I wish he would have let that moment happen. And then I was also like, I'm sorry, but like Lindsay lived it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, even though it may not have happened to her, she's obviously supportive of both Kyle and Sierra. And she came out there like, I don't feel like I learned anything. And I will say the first two parts of this reunion, I felt that way too. I was like, this is the most frustrating thing. I didn't come here to watch somebody's PR perfect answer of like, well, we've discussed that and we've decided to maintain our privacy and, we'll see how things go. It's like, no, tell me what the conversation was. Tell me what happened. So I'm glad that they saved everything for the end. But I'm also kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like they could be doing more, could have let the people who actually experienced it ask their questions and get that out versus like what was getting through everything that was on the cards.
Say that.
Period.
Well, we have a great episode lined up for you today, but before we do, I want to remind you that yesterday's episode of Going Deeper with Kelly Potter is out now. For all you Real Housewives of Atlanta fans, it's a fantastic episode, and we really appreciated getting to know Kelly on a deeper level, so be sure to check that out. Also, today we have JoAnna Swisher, the star of Sweet Magnolias. It's in its 5th season. It's out now. It's streaming on Netflix, and she joins us momentarily. We have a fantastic conversation with JoAnna. She is married to baseball legend Nick Swisher, and what a sweet and lovely person, but also a big former Bachelor fan. She joins us momentarily, so excited for you guys to listen to that. But before we do, don't forget the Viall Files Plus is ad-free. And it's available for all of you listeners. Also, in addition to the ad-free episodes that you get behind Viall Files Plus, we have a reality recap deep dives, which right now we're going deep into all things, obviously Bravo and Love Island, really getting the nitty-gritty with those shows. So if you can't get enough of just breaking down every nook and cranny of these shows, Viall Files Plus is where you're going to get that fix. Also, if you want more Gen Z, Mary and Justin are also putting out some content in Viall Files Plus. Plus, you get your update specials, your favorite updates from your favorite Ask Nick calls, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Also, for all you readers out there, again, I have a Substack that is out there. I dropped a new essay yesterday. Watching the Summer House reunion, I was reminded of the feeling of being stuck, like not just like physically, but emotionally, mentally stuck. So often, even though we're out of relationships, we still spend so much of our emotional energy like living in those relationships, and we have a hard time getting out of them. And like kind of the things that like are the signals of like just to like let us know where we are. I wrote about that. And if you are ever been in a relationship, whether it's a romantic one or a friendship, and you're investing your mental energy long after they have gone, it might be something that you enjoy reading. I hope that you do. Check it out. Just go to viallfiles.com to check out the Substack because it is out and available for you to enjoy.
Feel free to send to Amanda Batula.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's ready to receive that one yet. Who knows? Should I DM it to her? In case you're interested.
Hey, thought of you.
Thought of you. All right, well, it's time to get to JoAnna Swisher. She's up next.
Well, if you are looking for skincare that you can trust, that you can use throughout every stage of life, look no further than Clearstem. Clearstem is a brand I found during my pregnancy with River. I was so stressed about what products I could use and what I couldn't use, and a dear friend of mine recommended Clearstem, and I have not looked back since. Their Clarity Serum is a product I will use until the end of time. It is so, so good. When I think of Clearstem, I think of skincare that protects me from acne and aging at the same time. Every product is formulated with 0 pore clogging ingredients. Clearstem combines supplements and topical skincare products. They offer everything from cleansers and serums to supplements and moisturizers, making it easy to build your routine. And whatever products they come out with, I always know I can trust it. It's not going to break me out. I'm not going to feel a certain way after. If you're confused where to start, I'd recommend Mind, Body, Skin. It's one of ClearStem's most popular products and has become a staple for people looking to support clearer looking skin. Their under eye patches are top tier as well. Discover the ClearStem difference because clear skin changes everything. You know, we've been partnering with ClearStem for a while now, and we are so excited to share a new special offer for our listeners. Go to clearstem.com/VIALL and add the free mini Hydroglow plumping moisturizer to your cart and use code VIALL at checkout to get the mini moisturizer free when you spend $75 or more. That's CLEARSTEM.com/VIALL. Add the mini Hydroglow to your cart and use code VIALL at checkout for a free gift with purchase when you order $75 or more.
Gas, groceries, eating out, there's no escaping those expenses every month. But one thing you can control is getting cash back for them. And that's where Upside comes in. Upside is a free app that gives you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining, the three categories that take up the majority of monthly spending. Here's how it works. You open the app, claim an offer, pay like you normally would, and earn cash back. That's it. No extra steps. And the best part is this is actual cash back. No points you forget about or credit cards you never use. You transfer it straight to your bank account when you're ready. Wherever you're shopping, chances are you can earn cash back. There are over 100,000 participating locations. So once you start checking the app, you'll see offers very, very often. You can also use Upside along with your credit cards, rewards, or loyalty programs, so you're getting more back from the same purchase. We love it. With a daughter and twins on the way, we'll be driving more and feeding more moms. Knowing that we're getting cash back with Upside makes it that much more. It makes buying gas fun. You know, it's the first time I've enjoyed buying gas because now I'm getting money back. Upside has given back $1 billion, that's billion with a B, to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code VIALL to get 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code VIALL. JoAnna, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you. You probably don't remember this, but I met you and Nick like 10 or 12 years ago at some fundraiser, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Are you kidding me? Yes, of course. It was the Race to Erase MS.
Yes.
Because I'm like the biggest Bachelor and Bachelorette fan ever. So it was a very exciting moment for me.
oh, hell yeah. Okay. Well, it was I was a big fan of Nick in his baseball days. So it was, and also a fan of you as well.
Aw.
But being a big sports fan,
That's
I was
very
like, oh my
sweet.
God.
It's fine. We split the difference.
Yeah. Well, we're very excited to have you. Obviously, just big congratulations are in order. Season 5 of Sweet Magnolias is obviously out now. It's such a hit show. Everyone loves it. But like just to get a 5th season of anything these days is so difficult. What has it meant to you to be on such a successful hit show where there's no end in sight in such a good way?
Well, I don't know about that, but it's been amazing. I mean, it was definitely a surprise. And it came at a really, you know, kind of intense time in my life. And obviously, we've all gone through so much. We collectively went through like a pandemic together. We went through all of the Hollywood strikes, the writer strike, and all of these different things. But I also lost both my parents during the time that I've shot the show. And so we moved out of LA. So it feels like when I look back, and I have been more reflective this time around than before, I feel like, you know, very grateful personally, not just professionally, for the experience, because it has really gotten me through a lot. And so it's been a really special journey.
Why do you feel like it's connected with the audience the way that it has and just keeps bringing people back season after season?
I mean, I think it goes back to just like this, like it's very relatable, and, you know, it's so easy. The show's very sweet, and, you know, the premise of it is, you know, by nature just sort of, there's not this like intensity to it, but if you really watch the show and you've seen what we've really gone through some pretty intense life moments together. And I think the idea that you are going through life with your village, your chosen family, and this idea of friendship, and so it's aspirational in that these women really in their adult life have gone through so much together, but they make time for each other still. And which is, I know, as you get older and like life happens, it gets a little bit more difficult. And I also think it's just, it's a show that, makes you feel, like you're not alone. It's
Yeah.
heartwarming.
Yeah.
But we're still, I mean, we've killed some people on the show.
Well,
We've had a lot happen on the show. So it's not like we've infidelity, all of these different themes. But it's also like I go back to even a show like Reba, my first show that was on the air for this amount of time. I was a full-blown pregnant teen. Dad left my mom for the dental hygienist. Like it was a country music song
yeah.
all right off the bat. Like, we didn't shy away from like real stuff happening. We just did it we told the story through a different lens.
I'm curious because your character, Maddie, she's gone through so much divorce, co-parenting, dating, remarrying. I'm curious, as someone who plays this kind of dynamic and kind of robust character, is there anything when you're playing a character like that, are you able to learn about relationships through playing that character? And what have you learned, if anything,
Yeah.
by playing someone who has such a kind of an up and down kind of crazy life?
Yeah, that is such a good question because I really was just thinking about this the other day that, she's grown so much and in a way, she is me in so many ways, but then she isn't me at all. And there was one season in particular where, I think her toxic trait might be that wants everybody to be okay. And she wants to make sure, she's controlling in that way. And I do kind of have that in me. And I remember being super triggered that season and being like, gosh, this is so uncomfortable. Why is everybody picking on Maddie? And, it just felt like I made it so personal. And then I realized like, no, this is actually something she's got to deal with. This is some like baggage. And I think she kind of, especially this season, I feel like she's really been able to stand on her own 2 feet and kind of sit in the muck of life where she wasn't willing to do that before, whether it be out of fear or this like need for perfection and wanting to have everything figured out. She really is like okay in the mess and in the unknown. And I actually like really probably need to learn that lesson too. I have like my life pretty methodically planned out and I laugh because it never really turns out the way that you plan it to, but
Never goes as planned.
It never does. I'm curious.
Never.
How does do you ever like do scenes with Nick, or do you ever talk about your character and some of your character choices with Nick, who former professional baseball all-star? Like,
Yeah.
you both like reached the pinnacle of your careers. Does he get super involved with it, or is he kind of doing his own thing?
He definitely is very close with everybody on the show. And then I know in the first season when Justin had to like hit, Nick brought him one of his bats and they met and they were like, okay, we're going to make this look really good. And even this season with the
cute.
baseball, Justin was like, oh, what did Nick think? So he's kind of always had that, like, the technical part of it, kind of having his back in that way. But then also I was like, oh, I have to have this kind of sexy scene and I want to build my shoulders to look great. And he was like, let's do it. So we went on this like little shoulder circuit together. So yeah, I mean, he's a ride or die. He's a really good teammate.
Love
and
that.
and professionally and personally.
How long have y'all been married?
We've been married almost 16 years.
Good for you guys.
Wow.
I know.
What's been the secret for you guys?
Yeah. I think just like being each other's, and I don't want to say best friend because I don't know how much I believe like in that. And if that's the case for certain people, then it's all great. Like I have my best girlfriends and they are my ride or dies. But he is like my partner and we dream together. And I think that's something that I really was impressed with him from the beginning. Like when I first met him, he was like, he called me from the baseball field and he was watching them cut the grass. And he was like, I feel so lucky that I get to do this. And I can't believe it. Like, this is so rare. And I thought, oh gosh, I'm dating these men that are similar in age to him and have different levels of success in their own particular, areas of expertise. And nobody had really had that sort of sense of like gratitude and presence and that whole thing. And that really impressed me. And so I think really right off the bat, we super connected on just like wanting to build something together because it's not always great. It sometimes is really hard. It sucks sometimes.
Well, I love that you said that. Natalie and I had a date night the other night, and we were just kind of talking. We were Natalie's we're to give birth to twins, and we're kind of talking about our future. And
So exciting. Congratulations.
And
Crazy.
but yeah, I love that you said that, because I think the word partner it like hits differently, because now, like with dating, we're using partner, but like when you're talking about your partner, and I said to Natalie, I just the thing I'm always so grateful about her is, like, no matter what's going on in my life, good or bad, I feel like I have a partner in the truest sense of the word, where I have
Yeah.
someone who I'm going through it with them, and no matter what happens, whether it's something that's specific to me or something that we're dealing with together, I feel like she's always in it with me. Like if I'm stressed, it's not
Yes.
like this is your problem. I always feel like, all right, how can we do this together? When I'm like, we gotta step up. We got this challenge. I always feel like Natalie's like, all right, we gotta do this. There's always, she always makes me feel like there's a we there, and that partner aspect is like, yeah, it makes you feel like you're not alone. And like you said, it's not like, my
You're a
best
team.
friend. It's just more like I have someone who's in it with me, no matter what.
Yeah, and as your family expands and as you become like a bigger family unit and you start to really like see how that approach to a relationship, or even honestly, it's a gift and a blessing, because it really is. But that approach to like that presence is very much, it will bleed into your children's lives, and that will be such a great example. And I remember my mom and dad were married for almost 50 years before my dad passed away. They had their 50th anniversary, and my mom had dementia. And so it was really hard. And then we had COVID. And so it was like really hard. But I remember being with her on their 50th anniversary, and like she had this real presence of mind, which was so exciting, but also heartbreaking on that day. But they were always each other's team. And she said the funniest thing to me. And I said this in a wedding speech at one of my best friend's wedding. My mom said, I said, they were getting ready for their 25th wedding anniversary, and she was packing. I was like, I was 15. And I said, you can put some lingerie in there. I was being just a smart ass. And she looked at me and she's like, let me just tell you something. There is nothing sexier than my naked body. And I was like, okay, well, like, I did not
Gross
open
mom.
that door. And she's like, and also just so you know, like when you get married, always put out, because if you're doing it right, it only takes 5 minutes. And I like laughed about it. I was horrified. And then it's definitely shocked my father, because my father's like, yeah, right, 5 minutes. But there was a sentiment there, which was like finding that sense of like, you don't ever want to stray too far in terms of like emotionally, not necessarily physically, because it really wasn't about the physical thing for her. It was really about like, this is your partner, this is your like connection. And they had it on every level. And I feel like it like struck me in that way. And as I've gotten older, and this is not about anyone's sex life, this is really just about like making that choice. This is your person that you're in it with. And if things do get a little sticky and hairy, it's like finding your way back to one another before you let like 3 weeks go by or 4 weeks go by, or all of a sudden you're living separate lives. And it's just like, it's very easy for that to unravel. And so I think that we've both really understood that. We had very different examples of that in our lives growing up. And we just came at it together. And now we're 16 years in, and I just can't imagine my life without him.
What is like
Even though
your-
sometimes he drives me nuts.
Well, of course. What is your process when the two of you feel disconnected? Is it like one of you kind of acknowledging it and bringing the two of you together, or what do y'all do?
Yeah. Well, I'm more of like, I need space. I need time to process. And then I like to kind of like, I journal a lot. So that's sort of how I reflect. Whereas Nick is much more like, what's going on? I'm so like, he's so quick to apologize about something or want to talk about it. And I'm like, that is not, you're never going to get the best out of me for that. And so we've had to learn that it's like, take a beat, let me have my moment, and then we can kind of come together with clear heads, because being like confronted and smothered to like fix a problem doesn't work well for me. I need like a minute to think. So we have just like, I guess it's like, I don't know, like an operations manual where you're like, okay, if things hit the fan, take a step back. Yes. And we like do not ever cuss at each other, because that was super triggering for Nick. And so we don't like we don't say mean things to each other.
It's very sweet.
That's kind of like a rule. But sometimes like I want to be mean, but I'm not. I can't. Am I opening up like a marriage counseling session?
No, I just asked Nick to make me some cereal the other night, and he said, "Shit, man, it's already 11 o'clock. You haven't had cereal yet?" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
You're like, God, you're
There's
so
context to that
insensitive.
story.
It's just
Context
a really
doesn't
funny
matter.
It's fine.
I definitely fucked up.
Especially in this moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
No, after I said, I was like,
You're like, dang it.
yeah.
Oh my God, I literally, I can hear that, like that exhale. I can hear when Nick says something dumb and he's like, oh God, it's not like out of frustration. It's like, why? Why did I do that? I've been doing this for so long. Like I should not have
Yeah.
said that.
How did you and Nick meet?
We were set up by a mutual friend. And it was Nick's 9th grade math tutor in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And he was just a mutual friend of mine. He worked at the management company that I was represented at. And I went to go to New York to do Gossip Girl. And Nick had just been traded that season to the Yankees. And so we exchanged phone numbers. And then I went to go see him play a game. And one thing led to another. And they won the World Series that year. So I thought,
Wow.
well, this is sort of like what should happen every year. And that doesn't happen very often.
Like the next, why didn't you win, babe?
So it was just kind of fast.
Was he traded from the Athletics?
He was traded from the Chicago White Sox. It was like a very dark, low moment in his career.
I read here that on your free time, you teach English as a second language to people. Is that true?
I did when I was younger. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I did. Now I'm teaching English. I'm trying to teach Spanish to my children, but you lose it. We just got back from Spain, and there was moments where I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a G. I can speak beautifully. And there was moments where I was just like so hopeless. But my abuela lived with us growing up. My dad's from Cuba, and she only spoke Spanish. So that sort of we were in a bilingual household from very early on.
Is that something in a different life? Would you have been a teacher? Did you enjoy the teaching element to it?
I mean, I feel like it was just, I loved kids, but my passion was interior design. I love
wow.
furniture and textiles and like that kind of art. So if I wasn't doing this, that's probably what I would be doing.
What is your 2026 like JoAnna like must have interior design hack for this year?
Well, we're building a house right now, so I feel like I'm so in it. In terms, and we're also opening a brick and mortar for my lifestyle company. My must-have design hack, like I mean, for me right now, it's all about we're picking stones but really building out the spaces that feel like super personal. I think that I've always said like what makes great design is like that personal nature. And I do love all different design for all different reasons. And if someone is very like monochromatic just by nature and like that's sort of what makes them feel happy in their space, then I'm like, this is the pinnacle of design. But for me, it's all about like the stories and the trinkets. And I'm a bit eccentric in that way. So I love like all of the different things that make the house, like, I love when people lean in and go, what's that all about? Or tell me about that. That's for me what makes great. I'd rather have a bare home than a home filled with things that don't matter.
What's your favorite trinket that you own that's in your home?
I have a salt and pepper collection. And I traveled all over the world and now people will get them for me as gifts, which was super meaningful. But my mom loved chihuahuas. And when she was starting to get sick, she has these like they're just like cheesy little salt and pepper shakers, and like one has a chipped ear, but they kiss. And so those are my treasured ones. I also have the cookie jar.
Oh, the cookie jar.
So that one means a lot to me. But yeah, those things, I love collections. But like I said, I'm just like my mom was eccentric in that way. Like I'm a little quirky in that way.
You said you were a big Bachelor fan. Are you still watching reality TV these days, or have you graduated from the triggering TV that is reality TV?
I've graduated from. I want to be a part of like the conversation. I want to be in it. I want to know the shit that's hitting the fan at Summer House, and I just haven't gotten there. I mean, people think I'm like genuinely insane that I haven't gotten into it, but I will like when I sit in and I'll watch it, but the investment isn't there. When I tell you how invested I went, like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette was like such a big deal for me. It was like appointment television. I would start it like 12 or 13 minutes after it started to air so I could like fast forward through the commercials. Like I was in it. And I love like the competition shows, but I'm not a housewife. I'm not into the housewives or anything like that.
That's totally okay.
Although I do love Kathy Hilton. And I like on Instagram when those things like, well, when she's talking about the toothless, not homeless or like that, I'll watch that 400 times.
You're
so I
locked
think
in.
I would really like it. I just need to get back into it.
Well, maybe this will help you get back into it. Before we let you go, we have a fun, silly little game for you. And it's basically with the assumption that you haven't been watching a lot of reality TV lately. And because we're just so in it, we're triggered, we're activated, we have these hyperbolic responses.
I love this.
We want your I'm not watching reality TV, objective opinion about these relationship situations.
Great.
And get your
I could
take.
not be more perfect for this.
Perfect. We love it.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
Third party takes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll basically just read some scenarios for you and get that have happened in reality TV, and we're gonna get your take on it.
What would you tell your friend if they were involved in this situation?
All right. So this starts with some drama going on in Love Island right now.
Okay.
Your best friend is in an open relationship with a guy. She crashes out when he talks to another girl and then decides to talk and kiss other guys. Now he is forming a connection with someone new right when she wants to commit to him. Do you have any advice for how this friend should move forward in this situation?
I would say lesson learned, because open relationships are super tricky. Set a boundary and most likely move on.
Okay.
All right, this one is from Rhode Island. You receive photo and video evidence that your best friend's husband is cheating. He convinces her the evidence is old or fake AI, and your friend believes him. She becomes angry with you for persisting when you try to share new evidence. What would you do as her friend?
My favorite part of that line is it's either old or fake. You decide.
Yeah, it's either old or fake. I love that we're now in an era where you could be caught red-handed and blame it on AI. I didn't realize this is amazing.
It's so crazy. You're right though, because you really almost to survive in society, you have to almost be everything you see, you have to be, is that real?
Questioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
I think that having experienced something similar to this, if I have a friend whose husband is it's so blatant, I'm guessing that she probably is not ready to admit that this is the state of her relationship. So I probably would step back and I wouldn't want to force her into that, especially because I don't know the situation per se, but if she has kids or whatever, there's always more of a reason to stay, or you can convince yourself of that. But knowing that, when it all comes crashing down, I will not be there to say, I told you so. I will be there to just be welcome. Let's pick up the pieces now.
You're a good friend.
And then we have one from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is pretty simple. Your best friend files for bankruptcy. What's your advice for it?
What's my advice for my best friend filing for bankruptcy?
What is your advice for your best friend who opens up to you and admits, you're the first person she's admitted this to, that she's filing for bankruptcy?
Well, I'd probably want to know why. I mean, is there have you committed a crime?
Irresponsible business
Should I be having this conversation with you, or am I now an accessory?
She said the FBI is not involved.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say I'm a bit of a body barrier for my friends, and I didn't realize that until a friend of mine, and I'm not super proud of this, but I'm gonna say it. A friend of mine had an affair a long time ago, and I was like, all right, let's damage control. Who do we got to kill? Who do we got to bury? I went into crisis PR mode. So I would have to say I may go into that depending on the circumstances.
It's still in your bones.
It's a little in my bones. I'm Cuban. I'm fierce, fiercely loyal.
I love it. Okay, our last one. Your best friend starts dating your ex after you've had a complicated relationship with him for years. You also vented to her for years about this relationship. She announces the relationship on Instagram and doesn't seem to have much remorse. Photos come out of them attending a wedding together. Another photo of her spitting in his mouth. How would you handle the situation?
No. No, that's a hard no.
What if I changed who you are? You're a mutual friend of both. You're not the person who was married to the ex, but you're mutual friends. You have one friend who was married to someone for 10 years. Your other friend starts dating them, and the friend who's dating them is convinced it's worth it, and they're in love, and she's never been happier.
But this ex also has like 8 other women he's talking to.
No, this is a no. This is a, there's just certain things in life that are like
What would you?
off limits. If the ex-wife was dead,
Yeah,
She dead.
she dead.
I mean, if someone was dead, I'd be like, okay, maybe it's like meant to be, and she's sending you as this angel and this gift, and I could probably like work my way through that. But like, why are we opening that door to begin with?
Great question.
It just feels like there's no like don't tell me the soulmate situation. There's a lot of great guys out there. We're not doing this.
That's amazing. JoAnna, this has been so much fun. Thanks for taking the time to talk with
Now
us.
I need to Google all these stories. I'm like, am I going to go viral for being a total animal?
No, you have a
this
lot
last
to
one
catch
was
up
Summer
on.
House.
Honestly, if all you do is just watch the Summer House reunion,
You're good.
You're good. You'll get everything you
Okay.
need.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
so much to unpack there. It's fun.
I'm going to have to probably circle back to deal with like this emotionally. So thank you guys so much for unlocking this new obsession in me.
JoAnna, thanks for taking the time. The show is Sweet Magnolias. I know many of you are already watching it. You're obsessed with it. Season 5 is out on Netflix now. If you haven't checked that out, I know everyone who listens to this show would be a fan of Sweet Magnolias. It's right in your wheelhouse. It's like it's like scripted reality TV in a way.
It is.
So if you need a more of that fix, check out Sweet Magnolias if you haven't already. JoAnna, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. You guys are amazing. And congratulations on your twins.
Thank you so much. So great talking with you.
That was a pleasure
Please
for us.
come back.
Thanks so much.
Please come back.
Well, we're experiencing some big changes in our life coming up. We got twins on the way, and when you have twins, you need a lot of car seats, so that has caused us to have to get a new vehicle. And thank God we have Car Gurus. You all know that car shopping can be stressful, difficult, a little overwhelming, but with Car Gurus, you get all the information to make that experience far more enjoyable.
With their new search feature, Guru, you can type exactly what you're looking for, and Guru will show you real listings that match your needs. For example, we are looking for a car seat tilt, okay? Not every large vehicle has a car seat tilt, and that is something that we are looking for. Found it through Car Gurus. The Car Gurus app also includes dealership mode, which helps you compare vehicles, check pricing, review deals, ratings, and estimate your final cost while you're shopping.
With more than 4 million listings, Car Gurus has the biggest selection of cars, making it easier to find the right vehicle and the right deal. Car Gurus also provides deal ratings, price information, vehicle history, and price tracking tools. It's no wonder Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data.
Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com, cargurus.com. If you are a parent, you know how feeding your kids can always feel like convenience versus quality. The days go by fast. You look at the clock, it's 7 o'clock. What are we going to do for supper? Well, that is why we love Little Spoon. Little Spoon is designed to grow with your child and actually covers every stage instead of forcing you to piece it all together. Their toddler biteables have been a staple in our house. They are so easy. River loves them. They're self-feeding, easier to cut to size meals. Think hidden veggies, real protein, and no overthinking at dinner time. They also have fruit pouches and better-for-you versions of kid snacks. Everything is made with real organic ingredients and tested for over 500 contaminants, including heavy metals. River's personal favorite snacks are the apple pie oat bakes and the white cheddar Stellar Puffs. So feeding the kids doesn't have to be complicated. Little Spoon makes it easy with real, nutritionally balanced meals and snacks designed for every stage. It shows up ready to go, takes the pressure off, and somehow still gets devoured. Veggies and all, no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners either. And you know what? That's a win I'll take every time. Get 30% off your first online order at littlespoon.com/VIALL. with code VIALL. That's LITTLESPOON.com/VIALL with code VIALL for 30% off your first order. Y'all know I love to rearrange a room. I love to wake up on a Sunday morning and say, what can we do to refresh this space? And thankfully for Nick, we have a cozy modular couch. So it's very, very easy for him to do this. And it doesn't take a lot of brain exercise or heavy lifting. Cozy specializes in modular furniture, which means you can customize your setup and reconfigure it whenever you want. Your living room can change as your needs change. And one of the best features is the removable and washable covers. So obviously I've got a toddler, 2 dogs, a husband, babies on the way. Like just, it's having cushions that you can take the covers off and wash. Top tier, chef's kiss. Cozy makes the entire process simple, from choosing pieces online to assembling them at home and rearranging them. They also offer rugs, side tables, coffee tables, dining tables, everything that you are looking for, they have. Transform your living space today with Cozy. Visit cozy.com. That's COZEY.com, the home of possibilities made easy.
It's always fun to hear the perspective of someone who doesn't reality TV when we're
Who doesn't watch?
I'm sorry,
reality
doesn't do what with reality TV?
Yeah.
I always
They just don't reality TV.
us sickos
Are
who
you
are like
reality?
us sickos who are obsessed with reality TV, like sometimes we're just too far in it. Sometimes you have to get the perspective of these relationships we talk about with someone like JoAnna, who isn't necessarily watching them all and is just part of like humanity.
Which is also so refreshing because you're like, oh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, you're right. There's like other things.
Yeah.
We'll be
going
like,
on
oh
in
my
the
God, that
world."
psycho sociopath and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yeah, my friend kind of did that, and they made a mistake, but they've moved on and they rectified. I'm like, oh, like the human experience of like conflict, resolution, moving forward,
Yeah.
not like burning it all down.
I forget sometimes that people have healthy coping mechanisms.
It's like when every time I talk to my best friend Chambliss, I'm like, oh my God, this is what's going on. She's the most removed from pop culture, reality TV. And she's always like, who is that? What
Yeah.
is that? I'm like, I love that about
I
you.
love that. My mom sometimes will be like, yeah, I love listening to like the show you're on and whatever. I never have any idea.
The
what you're
tagline
talking
of all
about.
of reality TV fans is should be to stay triggered.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I'm like, I can't relate. I'm texting with my friends from morning to night, being like, this fucking bit, like we know each other. So
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
No, those are, you said it's parasocial, and I would have it no other way.
No other
Well,
way.
speaking of staying triggered, I want to know how Jennifer Lawrence actually figured it out.
Guys, really quick, I just want to say that when this rumor came about, I was told that we couldn't talk about it on the show, but guess what? I was right. It was Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, I don't know if you were
I didn't
right.
come up with the idea, but I thought
It
that
just
we
seemed
should
like a
believe
fantastical
the
rumor.
rumor.
We
It
don't
just
like
seemed-
we don't like platforming rumors.
Well, I believed the rumor in my bones, and you guys were like, "No."
but
don't
how
talk
did she
about
figure it out?
It does seem strange. I remember when like the rumor came about. We don't platform rumors, so we obviously didn't talk about it
I was
then.
so sad.
But obviously, I remember reading it, and I remember people saying like, "There's no way that Jennifer Lawrence would be like the reason that someone lost their job." Like there's no way that she would like admittedly.
I don't think she was
come
trying to be the
forward.
reason someone lost their job. I think she was trying to investigate and do what she felt was right in the moment. Jennifer Lawrence is really just like doing her civic duty. Like she's being an active participant.
But I still want to know how she figured it out.
She's
How did
Jennifer Lawrence. She has so many assets.
I like to believe that like she's such a big Bravo fan that like every time she's like in the clubhouse or like anything, she's like taking down numbers and like meeting people.
She knows the bloggers.
and then asking for like behind the scenes scoops and then being like, I have a whole Rolodex of people that I could text being like, you know who leaked
No,
it.
but it
right?
was
Tell
a-
me, I won't
Here's
say a
what I
word."
think happened. Here's how I think she found out. Jennifer Lawrence probably gabbing with her assistant about this, right? Her assistant probably is within the assistant network because they're all goofing their gabbing. They're talking to each other. The assistants also know the PAs. The PAs are working on set at Bravo. Jennifer Lawrence's assistant is probably going to do the work if Jen asks her to find contact info of a PA that worked on the Summer House reunion. And that's how Jennifer Lawrence was investigating and got the information. I almost guarantee it.
So you're saying it wasn't Jennifer
That's what I'm
Lawrence that
saying.
did
I'm
the
like,
work?
what I'm
You're
saying
saying it was
is
Jennifer Lawrence
Annie
that did
made
the
it
work.
seem like
So
she
Jennifer
now-
Lawrence solved it.
Jennifer Lawrence wasn't the one who did it.
Is that not the nature of the entertainment industry?
No, Annie made it seem like, remember, what was that show? Cats. It came out during the pandemic.
Don't fuck with cats.
Don't
fuck with cats.
Don't
Yes.
fuck with cats.
Yeah,
Dave.
incredible
She's on
documentary.
the Facebook group.
But like that whole community that sleuthed that whole like it,
Mhm.
Annie
Yeah.
made it seem like she was like going like bouncing from page to page, looking at like saw something that no one else saw, and she discovered something.
it
That's
was
how
a-
he made it seem
But
that
it was
she did.
it was an audio leak, so it really
Don't know, but that's
or
what I'm saying.
maybe Jennifer Lawrence
Hired
just
a forensic.
hired a forensic analyst. She Meredith Marks that shit and got the FBI involved, or she runs secretly. The only other option possible is that she secretly runs a Bravo blog that's huge. Is Jennifer Lawrence
And the person
a blogger
who recorded the video sent it out
to the bloggers?
to the bloggers.
And Jennifer Lawrence
And-
runs a blog page.
Wait, that
You
actually
believe that
has
more than the assistant?
100%.
Okay.
I'm like,
is-
I believe that if she has an
Just
assistant, her
another-
assistant has a job to do.
Okay.
That's not
you think
Her
you
assistant
think that
is booking a reservation right
Like,
now.
you know what I
she
mean?
cannot figure out.
helping with
You
the
don't think-
kids.
okay, you genuinely don't think that if that would not be put on top of booking the reservation shoot, that assistant would be doing both at once for
She's
Jen?
got kids. I'm just like, I just couldn't imagine that she's like, you know what? Take as much time as you need to investigate the internet because I'd pay you to not do that.
I just think it's a
Does
very
she run a
likely
blog
thing.
page?
That
I think
would be
I think it's 50-50 for me on which one of those is true.
Overall, it was a good reunion.
I was gonna
I
say
was locked in.
definitely part 3 saved because we finally got like some hard questioning with West. We had that weird moment with Amanda, like while they were on break, and she walks up to Kyle. Did y'all peep
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And like how she
Yeah.
like literally like submerged herself into him, and it was just kind of like, wait. Post this conversation of you guys being exclusive and this timeline and all of this shit, and then it's just like the first person you run to for comfort isn't your boyfriend.
But then,
No,
then-
he's not her boyfriend.
the-
They're not using those words.
but then,
yes,
but
Nick.
then,
Yes, Nick.
continue.
Kyle, in the most like vulnerable way, like you know, a man's really crying when you hear that blubber,
Mhm.
that like that, you know, because like you know, us boys, like it's an uncomfortable thing to feel those
Gotta, like,
emotions,
choke it down.
and yeah, you're trying. It's like that, trying to like choke it, you know, down
Yeah.
kind of thing, and he was doing that, and he's just like vulnerably like I just like we were together for 10 years, and we're talking about it like
The whole time
there was nothing good about it, and Amanda goes, I know.
She also said,
I'm sorry. And just like walks away like she doesn't give a fuck.
she
like
said, I'll
no
call you tomorrow. And that's why I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so we can finesse his feelings and make him feel better about the situation, even though like what's happening right here is just so not okay. And that's where I'm like, I'm sorry, but even watching Amanda's like answering or saying how sorry she felt and everything that she's gone through with this, her decision, by the way, I'm like, it just makes me feel like just nothing is genuine with her. That I feel like she's saying things to Kyle to keep him feeling, I don't know, like not that he owes her something, but like kind of making him feel comfortable enough that it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I need you here for comfort. I need
Yeah.
you here for stability.
I don't see it as like nothing genuine because I more see it in like those moments where I think it was in between scenes. And I don't know who said it, but someone was like, Amanda acknowledged like maybe I'll regret this all.
It was her and Bailey having a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, so here, at least that was like, all right, some kind of like recognition that like you are making a choice and that choice might go south. We never even heard that acknowledgement. And that was at least somewhat humanizing of Amanda. And then you hear these glimpses, you know, then the reveals from Wes where Amanda was obviously receiving new information, but what seems so like crazy, shocking, surprising. It's just like Amanda clearly is the thing that Amanda never seemed to register, you know, through all the like the insincere apologies to Sierra and her like, you know, limited responses to this whole situation was the fact that like she was almost kind of making sense when she was like, you know, trying to talk about her friendship to Sierra. But like the way she validates her feelings, it's just like, I felt this way about West, and everyone else is trying to explain to her, you're a 30-year-old person.
Yep.
You know, we're not in high school anymore. We're not saying you're crazy for feeling something. That's human. We feel things.
But you still made that
But the difference
decision.
between like what you do with those feelings and the way she talks about it as if she had no choice.
It happened
Yeah.
to her.
Well, it's
And-
like
Sorry, I just have to say though, the thing with the Bailey thing and her being like, oh, like maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll regret this. I was like, to me, that felt like a cop out. Like that felt like a
Maybe, but
like
at
a-
least she
but
acknowledged it.
right, but she just like negates any responsibility for her decisions. Wes does the exact same thing. That was just kind of like, yeah, like I really wish that I got ahead of this and talked to you before this all got out of control. Maybe before you looked at Amanda and said, hey, is something happening here? That's when you should have picked up the
No,
phone and called
West does
Kyle.
the thing. It's got to be so infuriating because like there's no actual response. Like there's
Thank
no
you.
actually in like most like relationship experts out there won't. It's like that. The sign of a healthy relationship isn't never fighting type of thing. It's
Mhm.
like communicating and conflict resolution. But if you're in a relationship with West, it's always like, I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry. There's no like,
I hear
but do
you.
you really get it?
I hear you.
You know?
And I'm
Well,
going to really
it's-
think about that. And, I just, things just kind of happened. And I just I really wish
Yeah,
that it didn't.
It's
And
like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
if I heard him say, I hear you one more time, like, bitch, you got 2 ears. You love ear stuff. Like, we know you can hear us, but like, you're not processing and you're
That's
not
fair.
responding.
Or you don't care.
She was also asked, I think it was the like, do you regret what you've done, or do you like? Andy asked her a question. What was the question?
Was it worth it? Was
it worth it?
it?
And she said, I can't answer that right now.
Huh?
The answer is no. Of course it wasn't worth it. Like, you and West aren't even saying you love each other
Mhm.
yet. Like, it's not worth it. If you
Mm-mm.
were in love and you were like, this is my person, I truly feel safe and protected, and I just love him with every ounce of my being. Okay, sure, maybe it was worth
But
it.
you know what it is, though? It's like that. When we had Anna Peel on Tuesday, if you haven't listened to that episode, very fantastic conversation. Anna wrote the book, Enter the Villa. She's a very accomplished entertainment journalist and had full access to like the villa and producers and cast. But in that conversation, she, one thing she said that she was surprised talking to all, I think she talked to many, like maybe hundreds. I don't know. She talked to a lot of cast members and like a spectrum of experiences from, mental health challenges, not like getting the pop or the fame that people wanted, to like the superstars like, Amaya and Leah and things like that. But she said not one person said they regretted the experience,
Mm.
which I think is interesting. But it made me think about like, it's sometimes too fresh. Like sometimes you honestly have to like wait 5 years to be like, you don't go on Love Island, quit your job, kind of like change your whole life. It's very difficult in those situations to be like, I shouldn't have done that. Like that's a very like scary thing to admit when you make these huge life changes that like truly like change your life forever. Like it changes your relationship with your friends.
I disagree. I think when you are sitting in front of someone who is your best friend, your sister, and she's crying, and your husband who's crying, and all of these people where so much has changed,
Mhm.
you've ruined so much with this decision, and you can't sit there and say, you know what, this wasn't worth it.
I think she's
I
in
like
denial.
him a lot, and I think it's fun, and like we're gonna continue to see where this goes, but like,
You're right. But the pressure of Amanda admitting to herself, I've lost all these friends. People don't respect me. I have no fans
I think if
anymore.
you're truly remorseful, that's easy to do.
I think she's just in denial of her choices.
She should have been sobbing, crying to Sierra,
Sure.
saying, when she's doing her whole like, you don't deserve a friend like me.
No.
I'm really
I did a
sorry for
shitty
everything
thing."
I did. I did a shitty thing. That should have been through tears. You should have been fighting to get your words out because you are so upset and disgusted with yourself for how you have acted and treated the people around you. But it was so just like a throwaway.
She looked at Sierra in her eyes, and I just don't understand how you can look at your friend, like exactly what you say. Look at your friend and your sister in her eyes, and not just completely crumble, because that's someone you say you love. And I wonder if there's so much with Amanda that she's so caught up on like her intention, where her intention was never to hurt someone, that she cannot get into like the impact of her actions on others.
Yeah, she doesn't want to admit that she's doing something. It's like, again, we are so hyperbolic, but it's like we're like, you're either a good person or you're a bad person. You're either normal or you're a sociopath. And like right now, she's trying to convince herself that she's not a bad person, that like people don't understand. It's like her whole narrative is, you don't understand me. You don't understand my plight.
You have an entire couch of people ranging in different emotions telling you that, like, as clear as day, what type of person West is, that you are one of many. You have Bailey, who's pulling her aside, not during filming, being like, hey, I'm actually really worried about you. I don't trust him. And she's like, that's fine. I'll have to figure that out for myself. Oh, what a damsel in distress. And then you've got Mia being like, girl, like, I get your marriage wasn't great, but like, you're one of many now. Like, why would that be the decision? You've got Sierra being like, this guy is with you to spite me. Like, you have so much range. You've got Kyle talking to his West's ex-girlfriend.
The preview for the conversation for next week, we have West and Kyle, but also we have
Sierra and Miha.
And Aniya said that she got a text from West following the filming of the reunion saying, "You won."
Mm-hmm.
What? That's crazy. First of all, manipulative. Second, it's just like it's kind of like it's making her feel like they were like going against each other.
And I'm gonna bet Amanda didn't know that he texted her that.
I'm sure as hell she didn't.
You won, and then what do you mean you won? Like, just because she spoke her truth and she had an experience where you like manipulated her and you did the thing that like the classic kind of douchebag guy in reality TV does, which is to like use your fantastical experience of reality TV, of which so many people are fascinated with, so many people don't understand, is it real, is it not, is it just a job, and things like that. And the truth is it's always somewhere in between. And he used that to manipulate and keep his secret girlfriend like confused about the reality of his life. And instead of just being like, hey, he went through a whole reunion of an entire cast of people trying to explain to him how he is incredibly insensitive, how he invalidates people's feelings. And then again, he's just like, you're right, I hear it. And his response wasn't to like reach out to her and say, you know what? I'm realizing now that I really played you for a fool and I took you, I manipulated the situation. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry. No, you won?
So again, the conversation that's happening, which I know you don't like the buzzwords and all the things, but like sociopathic behavior. I'm going to read the definition. People with ASPD consistently disregard social norms, like, I don't know, not fucking your friend's wife, lack empathy for others. Watch that for three episodes. And manipulate, deceive, or exploit people for personal gain, usually without feeling guilt or remorse. That is a sociopath, which is different from a psychopath.
Cook him.
I'm sorry, he has no
I just
empathy.
think, generally speaking, me, I just think it's generally a lazy take for us society to like name people narcissists and sociopath, because like we all can be incredibly selfish. And the thing about these, again, none of us are doctors, so like maybe we're all wrong. I don't know. But like it's the consistency, that's the patterns. It has to happen over. And I don't mean throughout a reunion. I mean like.
But I'm saying multiple reunions.
He said this is
like
happened
a
to a zillion women.
I know,
that
maybe
I've
he
been
is.
with.
I just think it's more interesting to talk about people in the way that we do, because we all are complex people. We all have seasons of incredible selfishness. We sometimes burn our world around us and then have to hit rock bottom, get therapy and blah, 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 and learn about our childhood. And like, there's often a path forward for people who make really destructive decisions in their life.
But that usually happens on your first destructive mistake,
Mhm.
you know?
Wes
if you're
Wilson
lucky.
has so many patterns going on with him. I feel like I'm on mushrooms watching him walk around. Like that is the kind of man that we're seeing, and he uses these words and this
Buzz
therapy
phrases,
speech,
yes.
buzz phrases of like understanding and accountability, and he's so intelligent about the way he uses semantics within his relationships, and that's really what, like, he knows exactly what he's doing, and I just don't think you can extend like as much empathy towards him as like not calling him a sociopath when he low-key.
But answering that question about like, is that your girlfriend? And like the way that like he gave 16
Boom, boom,
different
boom.
answers of like, well, she thought she was. No, I never said that. Well, I broke up with her, I think in like November, and then
But I
Sierra's
sent her
like,
flowers on Valentine's Day.
And
but
Sierra's
that
like, you're
wasn't
lying.
anything. But then I
Amanda's-
sent her
and, you
home
hear
to go to a
you see
game, but that was in
Amanda's eyes just, like,
January.
going back and forth, Amanda being like, fuck.
She's like, oh, I didn't have all of this information at the time. And I'm like, well, you have it now. Have a reaction at least.
Also, I believe he started off this reunion being like, I know we have lied to everyone on this stage, and I know it's going to take, like, you're not going to believe anything that we have to say. But, like, we did not sleep together at all. We were not physical in 2025 at all. And he's, like, giving all these things, and he's like, these are the facts, right? And I know you're not going to believe me. And then we have the clip for the bonus episode where he's like, you want the honest truth? I've been in love with her for a really long time. And it's like, why are you still lying?
Literally.
Because it's the semantics. Did they physically cheat, emotionally cheat? You know, they are, Amanda and West are like, we didn't physically cheat, and therefore that's the timeline.
But they
Right.
asked the question, are you in love? And they both were like, we're not using that word. We're not saying that. We've
Okay.
had those conversations. Okay, but then in your conversation with Kyle, Wes is going to say, I've been in love with her for a really long time.
So you can't be mad at me, man, because like it's my feelings.
Also,
but like
You
in this,
couldn't say that at the reunion.
You couldn't say
Exactly.
that at the reunion.
Because
Also,
it's
at the
not.
same time, they have a relationship where they have been so close for so long that they are casually saying "I love you" to each other as friends.
we watched it
and
on
I do,
camera.
and I do just feel like at a certain point, like if you have a relationship with someone, regardless of whether it's a romantic, whether it's platonic, let me rephrase. If you have a platonic relationship with someone that you're so close to them that you are saying I love you to them and you genuinely mean it in that platonic sense, and then something transpires where it becomes romantic or like there's tension, you don't get to play the card of being like, oh, well, like we never, like we're not really using those words right now. It's like you have a fucking connection.
you have a history of using
You have a
those words.
history of
You say
using that
those words
word.
easier than you say her own name.
And I know like loving someone as a friend and loving someone, like being in love with someone are two different things, but you just don't get to like make that argument
Mhm.
when you're moving like that. Like it's not we're just figuring it out. It's like, no, you maybe destroyed an entire show for this, like, I don't know, whatever situationship.
And Kyle asking, like, what is your plan?
That was so endearing.
because he really does care about Amanda and he wants to make sure that like you guys thought about something or like that you actually genuinely mean what you say. But it's like, no, Amanda's going to be one of however
But I
many.
also like how Kyle did that because, for all the roasting we're doing of Amanda, I like that he gave his ex-wife grace.
Mhm.
He was married to this person for 10 years. Kyle knows her better than
He cares
anyone
about
else.
her.
But also like Kyle doesn't want to think and that he wasn't married to a sociopath, for 10 years or a
Mhm.
narcissist. And I think I think we should listen to Kyle's perspective of Amanda's experience because he knows her better than anyone. And while he's not trying to like dismiss her actions and what he did, what she did to Sierra, it's just more like he's acknowledging that like we've been saying throughout this is like she was the vulnerable one.
Mhm.
Like not to excuse her, but like you are in total control and you have some responsibility for either manipulating my ex-wife or not like giving a shit about her feelings and recognizing what your actions could have done. And like as we asked when this first came out, I who made the first move? Who seduced who? We now know that it was West,
Mhm.
right? And like West was in the driver's seat. Amanda is very much like, again, not excusing it, but like she is telling Kyle, I want you to chase me. I want you to do all these things. She is desperate, whether she's right or wrong, for like someone to just be obsessed with her.
Yep.
And what Wes has had to do, he had to like fuck over Sierra. He had to fuck over Kyle.
Mhm.
And in a sick, twisted way, Amanda feels like that is meaningful. Like someone was willing to do that for her. And it's fucked up and twisted, but I'm glad that Kyle is approaching that from a place of empathy because he could have so much anger towards his ex-wife. And at the fact that he is able to like sit back and just read the situation, even more objective than us fans
Yeah.
who are like want to be protective of Sierra and like just kind of burn it all down and like see Amanda as our ex-friend who fucked us over in the past. It was just a really great moment for Kyle. And I think it also demonstrated his emotional, it was just so crazy because we're so used to Kyle just like losing his shit. But the way he was so like, when he was talking to West and he just like, well, I know that's a loaded question. It was just a Kyle I've never seen before where he's like clearly emotional, intelligent. He's capable of like not losing his shit on a very sensitive topic and not losing objectivity. It was great
He
to
asked
see.
something and Kyle and Wes was like, no, that was when he's like, sorry, man, I'm just trying not to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
And it's like, okay, respectful Kate. I feel
It's
like
crazy.
Kyle really just like
It's
watched
crazy to
this
say.
season, watched his frankly abhorrent behavior this season, and was like, fuck.
Well,
I gotta figure this out and I gotta be like better at the reunion, which is all anyone maybe wanted West and Amanda to do.
But also think about like the circumstances to the fact that Kyle's keeping his cool in a circumstance of watching his wife that he's still in love with, still married to,
Mhm.
essentially, not legally separated from, with her boyfriend, defending her relationship with her boyfriend, where I'm sure that's all Kyle's wanted. Remember when he was crying in the room with Carl and he was like, I can even remember the last time she stood up for me. And she's over here defending this not terrible, but like just no moral having human being that like she that I'm like, I feel like that would be so hard for Kyle to sit there and be like, cool, like you can sit here and defend this guy while we're talking about his full-on girlfriend that he had while he was talking to you. All of these terrible things that he does, and yet okay, you're gonna have his back, but like you've never had mine. And I think that that's crazy that like he's been able to like keep it cool and just like cry a little bit. And because I would probably blow up after a while. After
Yeah.
10 hours of watching you defend this, even Carl was like, Amanda,
Yeah.
you're really gonna choose to be with this guy after everything you've heard? And I was like, fucking yeah, Carl.
Amanda being like, okay, I hear you. Like she was the way she shut Carl down immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It was like she just was not interested in hearing from anyone else.
She's
I
just
said she
committed
didn't-
to this thing.
She didn't want to have a conversation with anyone either. She was just like, I hear you.
Even when they
There's
asked
no.
even when they asked about the baseball game, and he was like, did you say act like you like me? And she was like, well, I feel like it was part of the sentence. It was like the last part of the sentence that I said. Like I might have said, like, and it was just kind of like, girl, you're on a Jumbotron telling this man who has 5 other girlfriends, act like you like me. How many more embarrassing moments of pre-dating? Oh my God. And then when Wes said, I want to go back to happier times.
Oh,
That was
my
crazy.
God. And Andy goes 6 weeks ago.
And he's like, just when we like, weren't like dealing. Oh, when you were being secretive and you were hiding and you were like playing in everyone's face.
Mhm.
That's what you want to go back
How
to?
can Amanda
Mhm.
try? That part is crazy. I forgot all about all the breadcrumbing. Well, like when we were debating whether this rumor was
Yeah.
happening, and we were like using the information of like West liking certain comments and Amanda having certain posts, and we were all like, there is no way they're doing this because there is no way they would play with us like that and they would rub it in our faces only for it to have been true.
Mm-hmm.
And now Amanda's like, that was just all one big coincidence?
No, it's not. And Sierra being like, girl, you know how girls post on Instagram. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, all the like
Exactly.
close friends posting, deleting until he sees it, then you delete it. Like the
You're playing Gatsby rules on Instagram.
I was gonna say, and I've done the same thing. So like that's why I was like, Amanda, baby, like we're too old to be playing from this playbook. I just
what do you think they were thinking in that moment?
that they're getting away with it, that they're pulling one over, that it's just their own little special
It couldn't
world.
have been a getting away with because they must have known this will eventually come out. That must have been them thinking that we would all like root for them.
I honestly, this is what I was saying in the beginning in the intro. I genuinely believe that Amanda thinks everyone around her is dumber than she is because there's just no fucking way. I'm telling you, I did this. I broke up with an ex. If you're watching, sorry to confess this decade later. But I went to Disneyland and I posted a caption that was like with my friend who also just went through a breakup and said, a little less heavy or a little lighter or something like that of us just like back to back Mary-Kate and Ashley style. And that's where it was like, and then he texted me and was like, are you fucking kidding? Da, da, da. And I was like, oh my God, it's not about you. Like
Yes,
we
it
broke up. Get
is.
over it.
Yeah.
Can I just be a little lighter? Can I be a little happier and it not be about you? And it's like, yes, of course, it was 100% a dig at you.
Cheers, like I just took a
didn't
poop.
eat any of the corn dogs since I've been here.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little lighter.
What's with the fucking questioning? Okay, we're not together. And it's like,
Sorry, it was golden hour.
and like when he like kind of like acquiesced to whatever the fuck I said, I was like, I got him.
When you're posting like that or doing whatever, you're actively trying to get a reaction.
But isn't it crazy just how committed she is to the bit, so to speak, in the sense that like we're all watching it. We're all watching the entire cast call out Wes for this, just like paint a very accurate picture. And then Wes is like admitting like, yeah, no, I've been a piece of shit.
Mhm.
I've lied to a zillion women.
like a zillion is
But he's
so
like,
crazy.
I'm ready to not be that guy anymore. And all Amanda is hearing is he's doing this for me.
Yeah.
You know, like that has to be the only explanation is that like that's all she's hearing is that he's willing to do this for me. Well, everyone else is like hearing you're going to bet your entire future on a guy who has a track record of
Being dishonest, cheating, not even cheating, just not committing.
like the criminal who's been like in and out of jail his whole life. He gets out and you know, but like he's gonna do it for me. Maybe, like, is it possible? Maybe not. You know, like, but she is so. It's crazy how like locked in she is.
Do you think there's a world where Amanda knows that she made the wrong decision, but she is never going to actually publicly own up to it or say anything about it. And she has just decided that she's going to deal with the mess she made.
Yeah,
They just
and
went to Italy.
pretend-
Like, I think she's very much 10 toes down on staying with
But that was
Wes.
I kind of
Yeah.
agree with Mary. It's like
Her at her emotional core knows that she did the bad thing.
Right.
Like she did, like, and had this reunion, has the whole internet against her. And she's kind of just like, well, okay. And she's just going with it like that and not like having. I think there's part of her that thinks, because we look at like the way she was talking about her self-worth and stuff throughout the season, she obviously has a lot of stuff that like she doesn't believe in herself in that way. And when you get into a relationship with a guy like Wes, she's picking these guys that like are, Andy called her out on it, Wes being like Kyle 2.0
Mm-hmm.
of being this guy that's like taking over. And so she doesn't have to do anything.
I just
And
think
it's
it's
safer
really-
for her to like stay
yeah.
in a position with a man like that than actually have to like go out on her own and be independent in the way that Sierra was like really trying to get her to be independent, which
Sure.
she then did use that independence to like stab Sierra in the back and then
I was going to say that's
get
still
with
a
her
choice.
ex.
when you make
It's
a
a choi-
big
she's
choice
making a
and a
choice, but
big
she-
bet and it starts going south, like, you know, you come back to the Anna Peel comparison. Like, we've talked about this. Clayton Eckhart, you know, Bachelor,
Mm-hmm.
obviously he's had a very crazy post-Bachelor experience. Very different than many bachelors, you know? And it's just like, imagine being the one lead in a franchise of leads that have a various amounts of success, and everything that's happened to you post-Bachelor has been nothing but just traumatic, horrible experience. It's going to be very difficult to like sit with yourself and be like, I wish I said no to that opportunity. You know, that's why most people it's the whole like everything happens for a reason. I'm going to learn from my mistakes, which is like part of life. And like, that's how you get through these traumatic experiences. But to face that reality that I made a choice and that choice drastically like changed my life for the worst is a very difficult thing to just accept and face.
I agree with that if it were talking about just like a normal person. However, also came out in the reunion that she decided to not watch the rest of the season based off
Yeah.
of knowing what people are going to say about
That's
her and like that
bullshit.
she's getting attacked no matter what online. I think personally, if you have the gift to be able to watch how your behavior was a year prior and you have the ability to change that,
Only if you're ready.
yeah, but I'm like, but it's also part of her job. And like, that's what I'm saying is like, you've got Kyle, right, who had to sit there and watch the worst summer of his life that ended his marriage, essentially. And what was going on behind the scenes and things that looked weird and like feeling like he was being told one thing, but seeing things that play out completely differently. And I'm like, that man had to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch the season finale to come to do this reunion.
to see the worst thing that could possibly happen
Of him yelling, getting in a fight with his best friend,
Yeah.
does the stuff between him and Amanda. And I'm just like, so, and then we're over here praising Kyle's behavior at this reunion. Obviously, he learned some things about himself. Where I'm like, Amanda's sitting here being like, yet again, the victim of the situation. You made choices. Your behavior plays out in a certain way. You should be able to defend yourself. And I was like, part of probably why she has nothing to say is because she doesn't know what the fuck we saw. Like, you know, outside of major clips and whatever Bravo's putting out there, like, you're not watching the nuances of, like, the conversations between you and Sierra. You probably don't even remember them, or you're not going to highlight them in this conversation, because if anything, it's better to remove that from your memory and be like, we were never that close, or like, it wasn't that serious, or like, all of this happened to me, but it has nothing to do with Summer. She was like, you guys were all in the house. You saw what was happening, and it wasn't like that. Right. But you guys all have a very weird relationship. West is very handsy with everyone. So nobody thought twice about it, to Mia's point, that it's like,
That's weird.
yeah, that like
Yeah.
Amanda's a victim in the situation. She's going through a terrible marriage. Nobody once assumed that you two would do something like this. So watching things back and seeing how it played out, it would have been to her strength to be like, okay, I realized what this looked like, and this is what was actually happening the moment before. But instead, she gave herself no grace whatsoever to be able to say anything and just sat there like a zombie because she has no defense.
Well, and I think that's what I'm trying to figure out with her, of like, obviously this is a really dramatic like comparison, and I'm not saying Amanda, like, I'm not saying this is the same thing, but like, if you like,
Are you going to compare her to a serial killer like Janet did to Danny?
no, not a serial killer, but it's like, if you do something absolutely terrible,
Uh-huh.
right, and you hurt someone, a lot of the times that memory and like the knowledge that you did that, like, certain people cannot look at that. And the point of taking it, like, actual like accountability and stuff is like taking the time to look at that and realizing what you did and why you feel that way and why you feel so disgusted with yourself about it, right? And Amanda can't do, like, she's just not going to look at that.
Well, she
You
claims
know
she's
what
gonna.
I mean?
Yeah, but
But she's gonna say, and her and Wes both do the same thing, where it's like, and it's just what internet accountability is. Like, when people are asking for it, it's like you want someone to say that they're gonna do the thing, but like no one's actually just like going to sit. I mean, Kyle obviously did, and you see the impact that had on him.
Sierra did.
Sierra
Everybody
did.
did.
Everyone actually just like sat with themselves and were like, "Damn, I can't believe I did that."
It's almost like she knows that Sierra's never
And she
going to
can't do
forgive
it.
her, so it's like, why bother?
Well,
Which is, you know,
it's
because
like for
sometimes,
yourself.
yeah, for yourself and for future friendships, because sometimes we do things in life where we don't get a second chance. Sometimes you fuck over someone where they're like, listen, you maybe not be a horrible person, but like, I can never get to the place that we were. Fine, you move on. But like, to your point, it's just like, don't you want to like reconcile with what you did? Because don't you plan on making more friends in the future? You know, when you like, you cheat on someone and like you date again, and then that person, you know, you have that. Have you ever cheated on someone before? But like, yeah, that was like 5 years ago. And then the person you're dating is kind of trying to figure out whether you've like, are you still that person, once a cheater, always a cheater, or are you someone who's like, you made a mistake and then you figured it out? And how many years is it? Like, if you're going to be friends with a man in the future, you're going to want to have a similar conversation of like, yeah, I mean, listen, like you fucked over a friend, I fucked over a friend too, but like, how did you? And if you're just like, well, no one understands me, this wasn't my fault, they thought this, but this was the real story. Like, how could you want to be friends with Amanda? And, you know, because again, people make mistakes, but you just want to know that someone like was sorry and they
Yeah.
regret it. And if that friend they fucked over was willing to be their friend, they wish they could, but they accept that like they can't ask that friend to be their friend anymore. But that doesn't mean they're like not allowed to have friends.
But
You just
to
want
that-
to see the humanity and the ownership so that you can move forward. But Amanda's just like, nah.
But to that point, the only thing she said about like moving forward is I have a lot to think about. I'm leaving here with just like a lot that I have to think about. It's like, no, I want to hear that you have a lot to work on. I have so much that I have to like figure out about myself. I have a lot to work on in therapy. I have like inner demons and problems that this like this shouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have allowed this to happen, and I want to figure out why. I want to figure out why I allowed it to happen, and I'm going to figure that out. And like, if you want to have that conversation later in life, when I come to that conclusion, I would love to sit down with you and explain to you how I got to this point and what dark roads led me here. But it was just like, I just have like some stuff to like think about when I leave here.
When Andy asked her about like, was it worth it and whatnot, and she was just like selfishly like, I wish I could have both. And like, that's where I was like, everything that you have said
After this entire reunion,
all of your apologies, everything, null and void. Because I'm sorry, like, you don't understand. You're not hearing. Because if you ever thought that there was a world in which you could have both, or like, to say that out loud
It's so disrespectful.
so disrespectful.
audacity.
You know?
And the final thing before we move on to Love Island, we see this preview of Lindsay and Amanda having this conversation, and it seems like Amanda is like almost the follow-up to the reunion, where it's just like, have you thought about all the things that were revealed over reunion? You got to like leave West and blah, blah, blah. And if you just saw that preview, you're like, oh, well, maybe Amanda has decompressed from the reunion. Maybe she's like, now actually it's all kind of processing all these decisions West has made. But we see them in Italy. We see them at so whatever conversation we're going to watch next
spitting
week
in his mouth.
clearly didn't land, and they're clearly moving forward, which is like, we know how it ends, and it's nuts.
I just want to know if Wes Wilson is going to take to one of his little podcast clips about this spitting in the mouth in Italy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Let
it
me hear
was-
what Sophie Cunningham has to say about Wes spitting in a man.
I think
whatever.
it was like Amanda like spitting olive in his mouth, you know, like a grape or like an olive. I don't think she was like hawking a loogie.
I
Who
don't
and spitting
knows?
it in
Who
his
cares?
mouth.
The point is
Don't
they
care.
are fully
Gross.
into this
They are in
thing,
it.
And you were in public.
and they're
Yeah.
truly they're trying to prove everyone wrong.
They're considering maybe soon saying that they're boyfriend girlfriend.
They must be. All right, is it time to get into some Love Island?
Well, actually, right before we transition, I do have a question for you guys involving in the city. So we had that whole drama with Andrea and Lexi because Kyle repeated the story about Kenny and Whitney and saying there's no spark. And then Andrea kind of elaborated and added in there that, like, things seem murky. Yes.
My favorite word to describe a relationship.
Murky.
But I thought it was, like, really interesting how the conversation between Kenny and Lexi was, like, he was saying that you're gossiping with Andrea, talking about my relationship. So I guess my question to you guys, is it considered gossiping if you're telling your partner, like, what you've seen, what you've heard, coming home and...
No, I don't think so.
If you don't specifically say, like, don't tell Nick, you just should assume that anything that is said to me will be said to him.
Also, step further. If you're talking to anyone who you assume has a pretty solid relationship,
Right.
marriage, and you go, don't tell anyone, not even your husband, and they'd be like, oh, for sure, totally, I won't. They're lying to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like,
want to
so
tell my
many
husband
times.
even more.
Unless it's
I'm
something
texting
that,
him,
like-
don't forget when I get
I'm
home, I have to tell
recording
you
the
something.
conversation
Yeah.
as we are
Unless
talking.
it's something that like involves your partner
Yeah.
and like specifically for a very specific reason they cannot know and you feel you're like, yeah, you're right. We can't tell this person at this time.
No, in most cases, the husbands don't. You're like that. The drama will stop with. They're not going to tell anyone, but you just got to be careful because every once in a while, your friend's married to a gossip.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's kind of, I think, what the issue is, right? That, like, Lexi had told Whitney what was repeated. But I'm also kind of like, if my husband tells me something that your partner said about you that I think you have a right to know, am I in the wrong for repeating it?
No.
Like,
I do also wonder how this works with like I could never be married to someone who is a spy or someone in the FBI.
The Americans would
Or
never
s-
work for you.
The Americans would never work for me.
In fact, we tried watching that show.
We tried watching and it wasn't working for me.
Oh, you're not a
like-
Matthew Reese Carey Russell girl.
But like a HIPAA violation wouldn't work for me. An NDA, you know, we're at the gym. It's just me and you. Like just tell me
Yeah.
what illness or what like disease she has coming out of her body. I want to know, doctor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I fully
HIPAA
agree.
does not
In fact, I'll go a step
Work.
further. If
Yeah.
someone is like mad about the fact that they told their partner and they're also in a relationship, I'm like, it's not going to end well for you. Well, because that means they if they have the expectation that they can keep secrets from their husband or wife,
Right. Which, isn't that Yvonne's husband? Didn't he say that he signed an NDA earlier this
I don't know if he
season?
was joking or
Okay,
not, but he did say that like he's got super fancy clients he can't talk about, and he's had to sign NDAs, and he hasn't even told Yvonne.
Yeah, I think he's just confirming his NDA. You know, she knows every single one of those clients.
Right.
There's no
He's
way.
like,
that-
and if any of my clients are watching this, I do not talk about any of them with my wife. No, I do
Do you
not.
think the
Never a
NDA? Do you
word.
think the NDA say not even your wife?
They should if they really want
They
it to work.
should. Yeah.
I wonder if that would hold up in the court of law.
But it's also like
I
is-
only told my husband.
Mm.
She went into my file, found the document, and read it.
If the judge
Am I-
is married, I feel like the judge will be like,
That's your bad.
Sounds about right.
What's also like, let's say you have like, you know, a desk in an office, and then you have your secret file in a drawer in that desk. Does your partner not have a key to that drawer? And if they don't, red flag. You know?
It's like having a password to your phone.
Yeah. So it's like you really can't keep information. from
I
them
wonder
legally.
if Melanie and Sincere would have this level of open communication with each other.
They're actually fairly communicative.
They are.
well, they're both like a little bit of liars. So
They're definitely communicating.
Wait,
They're
wait,
saying words to each other.
But who is a worse liar? I would say.
I think they're pretty neck and neck.
No, I'm a sincere fan. Overall, I really quite like them, and I think this cast so far, season 8,
Very
is
likable.
likable and a little bit more emotionally mature than at
last
least season 7.
Yes.
Sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not watching them being like, what?
I do appreciate the
You know?
conversations.
There's
that
an
they're having,
effort
for sure.
To talk.
Yeah, it's like the last couple of episodes I've started to like change my tune. The first few episodes I was like, if I see one more tongue and trail of saliva, I'll
Uh-huh.
lose it.
Well, they got all the horniness out, and now that's left is emotion.
The way Caleb kisses versus the way Gabriel kisses.
I'll sign up.
Like,
I'm sorry. Like,
I take back what I said about Gabe.
no. Yeah, Gabe, and I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
I'm gonna slut shame him. He's a slut. Okay, like the way that this man.
you want to go up to Sultan?
and then
He's like,
like,
it's too hot right here, and he's like, you know what I want, you know what I mean, he just wanted to.
100%.
you know what I want, and then kisses her, and then he's like, oh, did someone see that? No. And then takes Jen, and then speaks Spanish to her. Like, do you know what I just taught you? She's like, obviously not. Like, no, I just repeated you.
He said, great.
Like I can't take any more of Gabe. I'm gonna be so for real.
I'm with you.
I think he's sweet.
I also kind of like that Soul after she kissed him. Like, I was like, I have never actually really thought about this process before, but like, I relate to it when she was like, yeah, like, I don't know. I almost feel like you can taste like pheromones, and like that it was just like, I instantly got the ick, and I was like,
You could see it.
yeah.
It was
on
a
her
great
face.
answer, and it almost felt like a little bit of bullshit where it was more like, no, you're just kind of picking up on these signals, and then your reframing is like you have the superpower of
Right.
tasting pheromones. But then she kissed Sincere, and then she goes,
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like Gabe's breath stunk,
and she was like,
"This is bad, and I'm not interested." And then Sincere, she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm down."
Yeah.
Like, he had just put some mouthwash in, and she was like, "I'm here," and I'm in it.
Pheromones taste.
but the
minty.
way Soul makes, like, Sincere is like a schoolboy talking to, like,
Yeah.
he can, it's already easier. Soul has this very light energy to her. That being said, I do think Melanie's lie is less egregious than Sincere's lie, because Melanie's lie is like, I know it's like technically a little gaslighty, but it's just like one of those stupid lies that we all tell when we're in the middle of a fight with our partner, and you're like, the playing dumb lie, you know, and she's trying to convince Sincere like I didn't know, like,
didn't know
whatever, like, and it's just kind of bullshit, but like everyone knows
He's
it's
like, I was
bullshit.
wearing Really? You think I could see?
You both know that you both know it's bullshit.
Yeah,
as you're arguing, but it's just like
Sincere just kind of rolls his eyes and kind of was like, okay, whatever. But
Not the hill you're
Sincere
gonna die on,
is
yeah.
like, he made out with Soul twice,
Mm-hmm.
and the first time was hot and heavy.
Uh-huh.
And then Melanie asked him about it. And first of all, the fact that she has
No. Before Melanie even asked, Soul said, "Are you gonna tell Melanie that we kissed?" And his response to that is, I mean, if she asks, incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. No, your answer is like, yeah, of course. Like,
I have to tell her.
We're in a couple.
We're,
so like,
we're
yeah,
in a couple.
I'm
I
gonna
have
let
to
her know.
be. I said I was going to be up front, and then he does the thing where he's just kind of playing dumb in a different way, where he's just he's maneuvering around the truth
And like
in a way that
Yeah.
which is what feels more like he's really trying to hide something. Where like, and Melanie knows, everyone knows. Like, she's not actually trying to hide it, and she's really not convincing anyone. She's not like, no, she's not like standing 10 toes down.
Well, Melanie was like, "Did y'all kiss in
the
the
speakeasy.
speakeasy?" And he's like, yeah." And she's like, "Okay, well, who kissed first?" And he tells the story from the first time that they kissed, where she did say like, "I want to kiss you again." And he was like, "Right now?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then she did ask the first time. The second time, that was mutual.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then he said, "We've had one conversation. We've talked once." It's like, you said two. And I kind of wished Melanie would have caught that and been like, "Wait, y'all have talked twice?
Uh-huh.
What happened the first time y'all talked?"
I really don't. I think they're setting us up because tonight, when you guys listen to this, there's the fan vote, and who do the fans want you to pair the bombshells up with? So now it's really being set up. I do not want Melanie to leave. I saw this tweet, and it said, and it had a picture of Leah and Rob,
Uh-huh.
and then it had a picture of Jeremiah and Huda. And then it had a picture of Sincere and Melanie, and it said like the importance of like that early couple and how it like sets up the show is so important. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true, right?
Yeah.
Because like early on, we're not really invested in these individual characters. We don't know who we care about. Again, it's so early this season. They're like the winner of Love Island, we probably haven't met yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the people we are the biggest fans of, we may not have met yet, right? So it's so early. But you have to get so invested in a couple, even if it's a little toxic and a little messy, if you know it's going to last. But like Sincere and Melanie really are carrying so far the show in a meaningful way. And it was so true, like the importance of that early couple, that like you are not sure if you care about yet, but they show like those kind of cracks in the relationship. And I'll be really upset if Melanie goes home. I love Soul for Sincere. I don't think Melanie and Sincere should end up together. I love Sincere has this kind of gentle energy, and Soul is kind of this kind of peaceful. Like Melanie is a little bit more like high and low, but Melanie, unlike, a lot of people comparing her to Huda would never apologize the way Melanie has. Melanie is like quick to be like, you know what, I really fucked up. I see that. Sincere was like, you disrespected me. And she was like, she listened. She was really willing to receive that. She got a little defensive, but like not in a way that, and like that's, that's for some people, not for others. Like she's always going to be probably emotional in these like very like difficult conversations.
Give me 10.
But like she's always she does talk through it.
Melanie just reads to me as like a normal girl. Like she just has like things to work on, and with her communication skills. And her like insecurities and whatever, obviously in relationships and like attachment style. But it's like, who among us don't?
Yeah. That being said, I saw a tweet that was like, here's a compilation of all of the Sincere and Melanie happy moments, and it was 16 seconds long.
I did see that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think I think because of last season and the way, like how toxic it got last season, I want people to just like be a little nice to Melanie because I'm traumatized.
I think it's going to be kind of like the Huda Leah kind of situation where it's like, obviously, if they are the first early couple, whatever's going to happen with this recount, I don't think Melanie's going home. It's either she's going to be left single and vulnerable.
But who do you think?
I think Corbin.
Yeah.
Kenzie goes to Caleb. Corbin goes to Melanie.
I don't
Kenzie
exactly
goes-
see.
He came
Wait,
in.
so Kenzie goes to
Kenzie
Corbin.
and Caleb are definitely going to be paired up.
Who's
Country-
Melanie going to be paired
Country
up
girls
with
make
then?
do.
Melanie
Yeah.
will be alone and Corbin will be alone. I think they'll look at each other and be like, hey, maybe let's explore this.
So you don't think there's going to be a dumping?
I don't think so, because I think
No.
it's too early, and
I
I
just
also
had one.
Yeah.
and I feel like and Sean made sense going home. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I feel like what they're gonna do is that they're gonna keep them in the house single and vulnerable.
Or switch them up.
And then or bring in some bombshells specifically for them to spice up the whole Sincere soul of it all. Does he want to be with the girl he just met, or does he now realize that he made a mistake by like going into Soul and leaving Melanie? Like I think that's going to be like part of our early days drama.
How old is Kenzie? Okay.
I also need to take back whatever I said about Kenzie being gone early. I really want her to stay. She's
Right?
amazing reality television. This girl, like, I'm captivated.
She's fantastic. But just a small critique to Kenzie. It's like when she was like, 69 is so fun. Like that's like in high school where you're like, oh, whipped cream is fun, or like sex in a hot tub, like like the idea of all those things can be fun, but like the practicality of any of those things, it's kind of like
Not fun.
I think she's 21 or 22
She
because
is
she just
24.
graduated. Oh,
24?
she
Yeah,
should know
graduated
by now that
nursing school,
69
so
is
it
like
took her
24,
longer.
you've tried it out like at least a couple times and you're like,
Corbin
oh.
hasn't.
Well, Corbin's 22 and he wants to be handcuffed and blindfolded. Those producers were like this.
We can make that happen.
You know what? We got our next challenge.
Yeah. They literally they
Thank
did
you.
that last season too, where they were on the like remember when that was when Iris came in and Pepe?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I think that what do you guys think about the Trinity and Bryce developments? I think they're really cute as friends.
I
or you think they
I'm rooting for them.
I could jump on the Bryce and Trinity winning Love Island train.
Yeah.
I really appreciated
slow
him
burn.
immediately
Mhm.
looking at her and being like, I know the blonde. Immediately. Like didn't let not 1 second pass without being like, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know.
He did play
I
that
know the blonde.
super well. Did you? Okay. I don't know if this is going to resonate with any of you, but Bryce was Tumblr famous. Have
I
you
did
guys
see
seen
that.
that?
I saw
Yeah,
that.
I saw that. Him
I don't
like-
really know what that means.
him-
Okay, so to be Tumblr famous, if you were like a girl or a gay in about like in middle school, high school, whatever,
Yep.
in the late 2000s, early 2010s, to be like an indie, like American Apparel
American
boy
Apparel, yeah.
at that time, that was like the hottest you could be, was to have aesthetic photos on Tumblr circulating of you. There's one of him in like, is it Kendall?
Jenner.
Kendall, yeah.
Anyway, it was now I like Bryce. And he also
He's
painted his nails.
really
Who do you think they're
charmed.
gonna couple Jen up with? I don't feel like.
Oh, then
she's-
if no one's going home, then she's probably gonna end up with like Corbin or. Oh no, she's choosing, right? When she chooses
no,
first.
it's America is putting.
Yeah. Who do you think Amara's going to put her with?
Because America's putting the bombshells with couples. Remember when we put Iris and Jeremiah together and had her crash out?
I do remember that.
I think, hey, America, can we be a little nicer this year? I mean, still create good
No.
TV.
No, I think
Still
Soul
make good
will go with
TV.
Sincere.
Yeah.
Obviously. I think we'll have Kinsey with Caleb, obviously.
Yeah.
And then who I feel like we haven't seen a lot of progression with Jen and anybody.
I kind of feel like
No.
Zach
Gabe?
or
Zach?
Gabe. I mean, Zach had the whole thing about wanting to explore.
Oh, right.
And I
Well,
feel like
I
he's
think he's
popular.
He's like, I told all of them that I'm closed off. And she was like, you did? And then he's like, I slept horrible last night thinking about how
well, did you
I told you we're closed
did you
off.
think he was in the wrong there, by the way? Because I actually liked the way he handled that.
I felt it was very real and it was very honest. The way that he
Mhm.
was like, you know, like, listen, I let them know like straight off the bat that I am very happy with you. And I think the term closed off kind of slipped out because he didn't say that to the women. He didn't say that to the
No.
bombshells.
He said, I'm like, I'm not interested in really like exploring anything with you guys. Is what he said.
Zach and
Kata.
Kata. I don't know if I like them together.
I think Zach just
It
knows
just
he
isn't- they
bagged
don't
a baddie
feel like they.
and wants to keep her.
No, but then he woke up the next day and was like, hey, I actually don't want to be closed off.
Yeah.
I like jumped. It feels too early.
Yeah.
It feels.
The way when they always bring in a bombshell is hilarious because again, it just speaks to like how insulated they are and just like they only know what's right in front of them, and it's like they keep forgetting that bombshells
Are coming.
are coming, and then they keep get reminded of like they're just gonna keep bringing in hot people, you know.
That's
like-
honestly how it felt like Zach was responding to it. He was like, I said close it off, but then I realized that this is going to keep happening.
Yeah.
And someone, I'm not saying that it will be, but someone might come in that I might want to explore. And I'm not saying that they will, but I'm saying they could. And I want to be able to do that. And Kata's like,
Great.
And
Wonderful.
also, at the same time, have you guys seen the Zach and Bryce stuff?
mm-hmm.
People shipping them together?
Oh, guys, that's just that's basically young straight men acting.
No, but it's in the summer of like we had heated rivalry and we have like you
No,
don't
I
make
know,
these
but,
guys
like,
super gay and horny.
But
you know?
growing up in high school and college, straight men do a lot of things that like we
Kind of,
you know. But it's not that. It's just guys
guys being dudes.
being dudes. Grabbing each other's butts, you know, like making weird jokes.
Yeah, and I'm saying it's fine for straight guys to do that. I'm just saying like they could kiss for TV.
Sure.
Anyway, girls kiss for TV all the time.
Can we talk about Casey and Aniya?
Mm.
I'm a little worried for our
yeah,
girl.
I know.
No.
I'm not comparing Casey to Wes Wilson.
Okay.
All right, because we
'Cause-
so far.
That would be.
That'd be nuts.
But what West is great at / horrifying
Uh-huh.
is that he has this very great ability in small moments to make the women he's speaking with feel seen.
Mhm.
It's not just saying things like, oh, you look really nice today. Oh, that's a sexy outfit. Just kind of these like, you know, casual compliments that could come from the person you're dating or like a nice person on the streets.
Mhm.
You know, there's a difference when you say something that you're dating early on that really makes someone feel seen.
Right.
This person gets me. They're connecting with me in a way that like no one really has. And the conversation we saw the other night with Casey and Aniya
Mhm.
was obviously a conversation that clearly made her feel seen.
Yep.
Right? He related to like his sisters, his family members about like the women he's attracted to. He spoke and related to like compared like his experience with his sisters and made Aniya feel like this man really gets me.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, you know, we hear like the fact that he's blurted out to his boys that Soul was his type,
and that she looks like his ex.
you know, and that look,
Mhm.
And didn't tell Aniya.
and then when they're doing the game, and so like you have Casey saying this thing to Aniya. This is a very it made her feel seen. So what does Aniya do in response to like Casey making her feel seen? She shows up to that game incredibly attentional, right? So you have all the other women playing the game. And like, okay, it's Love Island. We're gonna lean into the game, and like, you know, Zach had a right to be upset, and Sincere had the right to be upset, but it's still a game. And the women again kind of did the thing where they're kind of playing dumb, even though they know they're like, I could have like moved a little bit differently, but they're still making out with the other men.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a game, and it's Love Island. We want to see that. But Aniya was just like, hey guys, I know I'm blindfolded, but there's other ways to figure out who my man is without like sucking face. And she didn't do that. And she was like, I'm going to show the guy who just made me feel incredibly seen that I appreciate that. And he doesn't do that. In fact, when he gets asked about it, when Ariana's like, so like, what was that like? And then you have KC jumping out being like, blessed. I feel very blessed that these other women wanted to make out with me. And then when they're talking about it, when he goes and he tries to talk to Aniya about it, make her feel better, and she asks KC if he wants to explore something with Soul, his answer was the most bullshit answer, which was his answer was essentially in the most long-winded, confusing way, well, if I like her better than you, then I will date her. It was basically what he said. Because he was like, well, you know, sure, I want to explore. And if there's a connection, then like, yeah. But if there's not a connection, then like you have nothing to worry about it. Like,
and I think she's really pretty.
Question.
We could let that out.
Are they allowed to be like, well, obviously we're on Love Island, so I do feel pressure to explore, but that doesn't negate any of the connection between the two of us. Like, are they allowed to say something like that?
Of course.
Yeah,
I think
they
they're allowed to
do.
say
Like
anything.
reference the fact that like,
They all
well,
do.
we're
They
playing
do,
Love
yeah.
Island.
Or
But like
or it's early
Casey's doing
days.
the thing where it's just like it's like I don't know, a lot of guys do this,
Yeah.
right? It's great to say something nice, you know. It's great to make someone feel seen, but like you do have to be careful with how seen you make someone feel before you're really before you're willing to back that up.
Right.
Yeah.
And he clearly said this thing preemptively in a way where like if you're not ready to like lock in and explore, like what he said was obviously great in general, and I obviously a lot of audience members like I'm sure also felt seen. But for her, like you have to, when you're a guy and you're saying this to someone, you have to ask yourself, what is that going to mean to them? And how am I going to back that up? And it's not going to be like making out with other women and then being so flippant about who your past exes are, knowing how that might be received with the person you're dating and how that's going to make her feel. And it just, I don't know, like KC seems like this really sincere person and really thoughtful person, but like the very next day after that scene, he's just kind of moving like a dude.
Well, you've got 2 new bombshells that come in right after he says all of that, which I was like, that, you know, I mean, I believe that he meant what he was saying to her, but I think, the gravity of what he said just went out the window as soon as he realized that, oh, I still have options and oh, this is early.
Yeah, but you know, of course, it's not that he didn't mean it. It's just more like, it's like he gave himself the pat on the back for saying the nice thing without thinking about, well, if she believes that I mean it, what is she going to expect from me after that? And what is my responsibility going forward to show her that I do mean it, not just in a way of saying it, which is what so many guys do early on, where they say the thing, you know, like, and it just, I remember being like, you know, going on The Bachelor and you get broken up with, like the thing when you're like broken up with, when you're in it, like, I can't tell you the conversations I had with myself or producers. And it was like, but she said this to me. And why would she have said this and did that? Why would she say something that she knew was so like personal to me if she wasn't planning on, you know, moving forward with me? And that is, it must be something like why would you fuck with me like that if you're gonna did you just say that?
Well, and I think she did a really great job when she was just kind of like showing him how it is, where she was just like, hey, like, how did I show up in that game? Like, to make sure that you felt comfortable. Like, what did you just do for me? And he was like, oh yeah, I didn't do that, did I? And it's just like, yeah, like you can't say things that you don't understand the weight of and then be surprised by the consequences of it.
Yeah, and I think Aniya deserves like so much credit for the way she handled that conversation because it was just like, man, I wish I could communicate with people like that when I was in my feet, because you could tell she was in her feelings about it, and to be able to be like that empathetic and clear with the other person and like taking the time, because she didn't like accuse him of doing something. She was like explaining to him why, because he obviously didn't get like, or wasn't like showing to her that he got what he did was wrong. And she was like, I'm going to explain to you why this felt the way it did for me, give you examples, back it up, and then like, and didn't you feel a certain way about that? And he went, and then he was like, oh. And I think it's nice to see on Love Island people having like those kinds of like conflict resolution things, whether or not he actually takes that and like fully processes it and actually works on it is a different
Yeah,
thing.
we'll
but
see. I don't
I think
know.
Aniya rocked for having that combo.
I did hate how, going back to Sincere and Melanie, how the second that she started being like, doubting he's like, no, I love our connection. I want to try this and be with you outside of it. Just
They all do
just
that.
don't.
Yeah.
Just save it.
Everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too. So it's like
And you're not gonna. You're not gonna. It's a special time for you guys on this island. Just enjoy it while you're
Well,
there.
it's also like if Melanie Reed's is like, early on she has these toxic traits and and she's been very vulnerable to like something I've really Melanie always feels like people get sick of me.
Mhm.
She said that like in episode 1. Such a vulnerable thing to say. And then you see her kind of move and then we kind of get frustrated with her and like we criticize the act outs. But like and that's that balance between like acknowledging that insecurity you have of people getting sick of you, but then at some point being like, what do I actually need to change versus just feeling sorry for myself? Because she does the the first time she got called up by Bea when she was leaning forward, which almost seemed excessive of Bea, like how she knows her body language. But when the bombshell came in, she did with her physical movements. She
you
almost
saw
like
Trinity like tap her on the shoulder.
she
"Move
blocked
back."
out, and it's like she has this kind of like when she gets excited, she loses that self-awareness
She's like a
that
very
frustrates
physical
other
person,
people.
yeah.
And it's both like one of those, and we do it all the time where it's just like, especially in 2026, we have all this language to like justify who we are. Well, I'm this, I can't help it. Like for me, like Marissa, like I got ADHD. I interrupt. I'm like, I relate to that. But it's just like I get less and less grace as I get older. Of like, despite having this thing of like people giving a fuck, whether it's my attention deficit disorder or the fact that I'm just rude.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to like figure that out. And Melanie seems to be like on that path. But like with Sincere, he's doing the thing where he comes across as he can communicate. And then you have Melanie being a little bit more like, gets upset quicker,
heightened, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to Natalie's point, it's like, but just acknowledge that maybe you like someone better and be upfront. Why are you allowing Melanie and she's just being vulnerable?
Yeah.
Why are you going back into the whole like, oh no, we have something strong? You looked like you were in love with Soul, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just like it really felt like they brought someone in that like maybe is just like on a more similar level than you. But why are you doing the thing in relationships where you you have this toxic relationship, you break up, you get back together, you meet someone new, but they pull you back in with like, but I've been fighting for you and things like that. And like, it's just all to say that like that person who comes across as the less toxic one in the relationship is toxic because they play in to the push and pull of the relationship. And he's doing that.
My favorite line in the episode was Sincere at the end going, I have a feeling that we're either going to be the greatest love story there ever was, and Melanie going, or you're going to break up with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was so real for that. It's like Melanie, I think where a lot of my empathy for her comes from is just like, she runs a little hot. And I, as someone who like also runs a little hot, it's like, I think she's trying, and I think she probably knows she runs a little hot. And, again, kind of like when we had JoAnna on earlier, where she was like, sometimes you just need a second. I think Melanie is definitely the kind of girl that just needs a second. And
Or
like,
10.
I don't know if Sincere is like, yeah, give me 10. If Sincere is like the guy that's going to be able to kind of like match her on that a little bit if she needs it, or let it go.
I also
I don't know.
think it's so early. So as much as I want to believe Sincere is being sincere, I also think that it's a power in numbers at this point, because it's like nobody knows when the next fire pit's going to happen. Nobody knows when they're going home. Wouldn't it be better to have 2 options than no options? Or be stuck with one option and that option have other options? And that's kind of where Sincere's insecurities kind of been showing through, is that anytime Melanie is excited about anybody else walking in that door, he's all of a sudden like, well, why would she act like that? Why would she da-da-da? And it's just like, even if she was excited for Kenzie, if she was excited for herself, whatever it may be, it's like you let yourself have all of these emotions. So then it's like, but it's okay when you do it. It's okay that you can bring a bombshell and take her to every quiet, hidden place in the house and make out. But she jumps up and down in front of your face because a bombshell walks in for someone else. And it's like, oh, well, I really have to think about what we're doing here. So I'm just like, I do kind of feel like there's a bit of,
Double standard.
raw emotion, but I also think that there's a bit of like okay, well, if Melanie isn't into me, I should have somebody else. Or like, I actually really like Soul, but if Soul decides to go with somebody else, or America
Yeah,
pairs him with
Melanie.
someone else,
Yeah.
they see that
I
we have a
think-
connection too.
I think Soul is. I mean, she came in as a bombshell, but I think she's a girl's girl in the sense. And her asking Sincere if you're gonna tell
Tell her.
Melanie is like kind of a check-in of like, how are you gonna move?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will be curious how things play out. Like, 'cause let's assume that America matches Soul and
Sincere.
and Sincere. I feel like it's gonna come out that the back and forth. I feel like Soul's gonna put a stop to it, and I could see I want to see a conversation between Melanie and Soul at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that, because Soul doesn't. She seems like very confident, sure of herself. So I don't feel like when she's talking to Melanie, it's going to come from a place of rivalry
Mm-hmm.
or like competition. And I wonder if Sincere is going to kind of get caught with a little bit of the game playing he's doing right now.
A little bit of the lies, and I kind of hope that if I were producing it, I would send in a bombshell specifically for Melanie and see
Yeah.
how that whole dynamic.
Well,
plays
Melanie
out.
does seem to act like every bombshell is for her.
Okay, and here, one last thing I'll say on my girl Melanie.
It's early days.
It's early days, and like maybe I'm wrong and I'll turn on her, but as of right now, like she is starting to feel like my girl. Like, and you know, God forbid a woman is expressive, and I feel like that's what Melanie is just getting like in trouble for with Sincere, because he's a very like calm presenting guy, and I think so many times in those relationship dynamics with like a very peaceful presenting man and like a woman who is more expressive, like the woman gets, I don't know, I think she gets a lot of shit that
It's
she
the
doesn't
Wes Wilson
deserve.
of like, everything's fine, everything's chill,
Yeah,
everything's
it's like,
cool.
no,
and,
God
like,
forbid I have like a physical reaction to something and move my body. Like, okay, sorry, my voice changed in an inflection because I had a feeling. Like, I don't know.
So
like,
which
there's a
of which
level of that
couples
for
who are
me.
we rooting for to stay together?
Bryce and
Bryce and Trinity.
Trinity.
Bryce and Trinity for sure.
I
If
don't.
Casey can clean his act up,
It's like,
potentially him and Aniya.
yeah, I was gonna say I like
Mhm.
Aniya and Casey, but like,
I mean, because regardless of what happens, they seem like a really nice fit.
yeah, I just want Casey to be behind everything that he said. And
Yeah.
if you're really gonna choose Aniya and seeing like what she faces being in this villa, then I'm just like,
Don't be performative.
exactly. Don't say the shit that you know is gonna win us over, but like you're gonna go move.
Treat her that way.
To somebody
if you
completely
see her,
opposite.
If you see her that way, treat her that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
I'm definitely done with Bea and Gabe. Like, I want Bea
They're
to
not a
be
ma- yeah.
Yeah.
so-
She's too earnest and she's too like grounded in a way that like Gabriel, he's just too unserious about
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, they're like a fling. They're a villa fling, but let's not pretend that, you know.
If Bea doesn't find her match, she could put her on Age of Attraction.
That's true.
Yeah.
Her saying that she was the guy 20 years older
Mhm.
than her. Yeah.
Pop off.
Period.
Okay, one last thing about Kenzie I was thinking about. So she was talking about she's never had a roster before. And I think there are modern dating, you really, really get into the idea that like you have to have a roster. Obviously on Love Island, it's encouraging you to like have a bit of a roster. But she's going in with no experience and it's stressful. And I relate to that as someone who like rarely ever has a roster. I get stressed out when I get one. So like what's everyone's tips for successfully navigating a roster?
I can honestly say I've never had a roster, but I just
Cool.
don't have that attention span to like give to that many people at one
That
time.
is the
I mean,
thing.
like,
just
you
don't
know, it's one of
want
those
it. I
things.
don't
I don't know.
want
I'm
one.
curious, the ladies out there, like, do you really want one?
No, I
why,
don't.
Why, is it because, you know, it's 2026 and if the guys can do it, we can do it too? Because the only reason guys do it is for bragging rights with their guy friends. It's very like locker room talk.
I think
Because it's
like
also-
when the guy that you want won't commit to you, then you just like, okay, well, I'll just keep on seeing what's out there then.
Well, there's a difference between seeing what's out there and like there are guys who literally like brag about their roster.
Yeah.
And when by roster, it's like you have a team of people you're dating. It's people you can kind of go back.
Wes Wilson.
Wes Wilson has a
Yeah.
roster. It is not
It's
just like
polyamory, but like really you're the coach and the players don't interact.
Yeah.
yeah, you have all the say and all the power, and they don't really know. But like, yes, you get to like on a Wednesday if you're feeling a certain vibe, you put like if you need a shooter,
Yep.
you know, you put in the point, you know, the shooting guard. If you need to play some defense, You know, you bring in the defensive specialist.
Different
That's what,
people, different sets of skills.
Or you just throw out 5 different balls and see which one comes back.
yeah, that
Which
is
one
also
responds first?
Yeah,
Literally.
So-
that's fast pitching.
if
Nice.
you're, you know, so if you have a group of girls where like they think you're really cool for like juggling a lot of men, I guess pop off. But like that's honestly the only reason guys have it is to like feel cool with their like boys.
Or to be able to get as many opportunities to feel like they have a girlfriend but no commitment with every different type of flavor under the sun.
Ugh, this
Yeah, but
makes me feel
there are
better.
guys you could just be single and dating, and you could be not the person who says a bunch of things to all the people you're dating, which validates them and makes them feel like I'm the only one they're dating. They wouldn't say this to like people they don't care about, but he's saying it to me, and he's just like, yeah, but no, you know. And there's a difference between a guy who's just like out there just dating,
Yeah.
you know, and just like not saying things that make, you know, like Natalie always jokes, like when we first started dating, you didn't talk to me or you were very quiet, but I was always this, I never wanted to say something that she would receive in a way that like I couldn't back up with my actions. And
No, I
you
get
can
that.
call that whatever, but like that's at least someone who like doesn't need to say something just so I can make sure I got that locked down so that
Mhm.
I can like move differently
But
with
you
other
would
people.
like absolutely throw down in the bedroom. So which is worse?
Oh. Good. I didn't need to
I'm
know
not,
that.
I'm not a saint. I'm just,
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
You were like, you
maybe
didn't
I
use it.
am. That is the thing. It's like sometimes you're not using your words.
I
but,
just thought we were
like, he won't
participating in hookup
say-
culture.
But it's like
Love a situationship. Loved
Yeah.
it back then.
there
Loved
is
it back
something
then.
funny about being like so like it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like being so intentional with your words of like what you're saying to a person and not saying to a person in order to keep up like some boundary and then like but then
physically being
the body language ain't gonna lie.
right. I'm like, we don't speak at all, but like he's obsessed with me.
Like okay,
Are you kidding?
but then he like intimate.
It's intimate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen.
You know, it's imperfect.
Yeah, I'm
you
like,
know?
I'm not
We're
gonna.
all on a journey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
we're all
yuck
figuring
anyone's
it
yum
out.
about like if
Yeah.
you want to have a roster, especially if you're young and dating and don't want to take anything seriously. By all means, have as much fun
It's a lot of work.
as you want. Yeah, like better you than me.
Yeah, but if you're a roster, like again, there's assistant coaches you have to go through first. Then like you become a coach. You just got to be like good at keeping your game, I guess, is what I'm hearing.
It's a lot to navigate. Well, we will certainly have a lot to unpack next week. Don't forget to check out the Going Deeper episode with Kelly Potter that is out now. It was a great conversation. All you Real Housewives of Atlanta fans, it's a fantastic episode, and we really appreciated Kelly joining us. It was so great to get to know her on a more personal level, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. Thank you to our guest, JoAnna Swisher, for joining us, and thank you guys all for listening. Don't forget to check out my Substack, the new essay I dropped today about how to get unstuck. I was just kind of reminded of all the times I felt very stuck and trapped in a relationship I couldn't emotionally or mentally get out of watching the Summer House reunion. So if that's something that you're out there and you're relating to, check it out. Hopefully you find it interesting and helpful. Just go to viallfiles.com or my Instagram or whatever to check it out. I hope that you do. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you back on Monday. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.